conning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello, and happy Scooble Bump Day. Yeah, it feels good to say that again. Tigers opening day. We are back, ladies and gents. The weekend has arrived early for Michiganders, because not only do we have Tigers opening day, we've got Sweet 16. We've got first round Frozen Four tournament for 2 1 seeds, Michigan and Michigan State. Should be a jam-packed weekend. I can't wait. Let's not waste any time, because we don't have any time to waste. We'll have Chris Castellani on at 11 o'clock. He'll help us preview this Tigers game as well. I want to start here, Kyle. I, last night, was thinking about this as I'm watching that game on Netflix. Just a pretty big letdown for opening day, I'd say. Also, by the way, I want to spend more than 30 seconds on this. That Netflix game last night, what were we doing? I don't know who that first 15 minutes was for, but it certainly wasn't for baseball fans. That was weird. From like 8 o'clock to 8:20, 8:15, whenever the game started, wasn't a big fan of that. Felt like the most overproduced baseball game I've ever seen in my entire life. Weird stuff. As I'm watching that and watching Aaron Judge strike out a total of 4 times, I came up with my 10 storylines heading into this Tigers season. Top 10 storylines heading into the year. You hear that, what's your number one reaction?
It's got to be Kevin McGonigal, right? Just the introduction of Kevin McGonigal.
That McGonigal is the number one storyline heading into the year. I have Kevin McGonigal on my list, but I have a couple storylines that I'd like to attack before we get to Kevin McGee. The number one storyline I have for this Tiger season that begins at 4:30 today on MLB Network, so you can delay yourself one extra game or one extra day from buying Detroit Sportsnet. By the way, we do have our cable providers' TVs. We announced that yesterday, so they are going to be on cable. You're welcome. We complained about it long enough that they listened. The number one storyline I have heading into the Tigers season is whether or not Tarik Skubal is going to three-peat for the Cy Young Award. There's been a lot of Tarik Skubal talk over the last couple of weeks. There's been some frustration built up with him. But if he can three-peat the Cy Young, he'd be the third player in MLB history to accomplish that, behind Greg Maddux, who won 4 straight from 92 to 95, and Randy Johnson, who also won 4 straight from 99 to 2002. Only 10 pitchers in MLB history have 3 total Cy Youngs, all of which, well, of those 10, 6 are in the Hall of Fame, 3 are active players, Kershaw, Verlander, Scherzer, so can't be in the Hall of Fame quite yet. And then the only person who's not in the Hall of Fame of guys that have since hung it up is Roger Clemens, who is not in the Hall of Fame because of PEDs. So if Tarik Skubal is chasing this accomplishment that only 10 pitchers have done in the history of baseball, something that only really 2 pitchers have done in the history of baseball, and winning 3 straight Cy Youngs, I think we get to a territory with Tarik Skubal where he is right up there with Shohei Ohtani, LeBron James, Tom Brady as some of the most sought-after free agents in the history of sports, certainly the 21st century. That's my number one storyline heading into the year.
I thought you were about to compare Skubal to those guys just as players, and I would have been like, whoa, that's something I haven't really considered.
Probably a peg below that.
For sure.
But jumping into a free agent season on the last year of his contract, those to me are like the biggest free agents to exist in the 21st century. When Brady was done with New England, when Shohei was done with the Angels, when LeBron the first time around was done with Cleveland and jumped to Miami. I think Shohei would be right, or not Shohei. I think Scooble would be right in that conversation of the most sought-after, biggest names to ever go into free agency if he were to three-peat.
I would think so, too. Aaron Judge going into free agency a couple years ago was a pretty big deal, but the fact that he just returned to the Yankees made it not that big of a deal. It was basically between them and the San Francisco Giants, of course, who played last night, which is kind of funny.
Got booed a lot last night.
Yeah. I mean,
and then they were cheering him by the end of the game.
From, he's from that area, so that kind of what makes sense why there was all those rumors years ago. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought about this. I've been trying to avoid the off-season thoughts with Tarek Skubal just because we're finally at the part where we get to watch him pitch again, and that's the guy that I like. I don't like everything else, especially all the off-season Tarek Skubal stuff. But I definitely am with you in the fact that, if he goes 3 straight Cy Youngs, just going back-to-back in itself was already crazy. He's, of course, the odds-on favorite to win the Cy Young. I think everybody would pick him to win the Cy Young as long as he's going to be healthy. And if he's healthy, he will win it. And so if he goes 3 straight and hits free agency, it's one of the biggest, best players in their peak of their powers to enter the open market.
Also, I get Major League Baseball Hall of Fame is hardest one to make. It's the most prestigious. If he wins 3 straight Cy Youngs, pencil him in now. He could probably retire as soon as the season's done, and he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
For sure.
Which I made the case. I kind of already assumed he was just set to be in the Hall of Fame, and John kind of poured some fire on me over the weekend while we were painting the studio. He's like, I don't know, man. It's really about the totality of what you do in your entire career, and Scooble's not quite to that level yet in terms of, the guys that have and have not made the Hall of Fame. But if he wins the 3rd one, I do think he could retire as soon as the season's done and be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, 3 straight is 3 straight. That's pretty unheard of.
He's on the mound tonight. You said this to me before the show started. It's the first Scooble bump day of the season.
Well, not of the season, just
or
of the Tigers' career, of being a Tigers fan. Yeah, it's happy because it was always happy Scooble Bump Day. That's what it is every time he pitches. And I will continue to say that all year. Mm-hmm. But this is happy first Scooble Bump Day.
It's like the last first day of school.
It's like the last first day of school.
First day of senior year.
Correct.
This is a little bit different because that's a celebration.
It's sad.
This is like a wow. And you and I have gotten to the point where we're not even entertaining the idea of him returning to Detroit anymore.
No one should be. He's not. That you should shift your mindset from being mad at either whether you're mad at Scooble or Illich for not bringing him back. Shift your mindset to let me enjoy this. Let's enjoy Tarek Skubal while we still have him.
I'll take it a step further. Let's shift our mindset to let's see if he can help us win a World Series. And if he walks, and we're not even that mad at him or the organization because he helped deliver a World Series.
I'm with you.
I think that's totally on the table. All these storylines that I have, all 10 of them, probably get a little bit overshadowed by the big picture of just chasing a World Series, which honestly ties right into my second storyline. Verlander, back in the D, chasing a World Series. Traded to Houston in 2017, where A.J. Hinch was, in exchange for Franklin Perez, who never played in the majors. That was the big-time get. Daz Cameron, flamed out, and Jake Rogers, who's still around. He won a World Series in year 1. Wins another World Series in 2022, and along the way, he wins a Cy Young in 2019 and 2022. I know he had the quote earlier this offseason that he wanted to go into the Hall of Fame as a Tiger and not an Astro. But this is an opportunity to have a true storybook ending to a career, like a sports movie ending, full circle, back with the team you came up through, back with the first organization where you had all your success, where you never quite got your ring. This is how the TV show, the movie, is supposed to end, with Tarek Skubal, for that matter, too, and Justin Verlander both holding up a World Series trophies at the end of the year. He's also chasing 300 wins. He's not going to get that this year, but wants to get to that at some point in his career. He's at 266 right now. Most wins of any active pitcher in baseball. I think that's my number 2 storyline is Verlander chasing a World Series.
Yeah, I think it's just Verlander being back in general. The fact that the Tigers are chasing a World Series makes it even cooler. But, the fact that Verlander is back this is something that Tigers fans and just people in general had been talking about and wanting for a few years now, even back before he joined the Mets or joined the Giants, it was post-Houston days. Like, everybody wanted Verlander to come back to the D. And now that he actually has in a position where it feels like a last dance type of season, and it's not, because the Tigers have Kevin McGonigal, who's like supposed to be the future, and they have all these prospects. Like, it's not a true like win it or you're done type of season, but it does feel like that, especially with Justin Verlander coming in. And so this rotation is the reason why you feel so confident about the Tigers. Justin Verlander was San Francisco's number 2 last year. He was the Mets' number 1 or 2 when he was there. He was Houston's number 1 or 2. Like, he comes here to Detroit as the 4th guy. I mean, he is 4th in the rotation, but like, if everything works out, he's your 3rd best pitcher, even if he's awesome. Like, that's great. There's not a lot of pressure on him. The fans are going to love him. I just think that overall, like, him chasing a World Series with this team, he will go into the Hall of Fame as a Tiger. I have shifted my mindset on that because I always thought it would be with Houston. Him saying it, like, I think, and coming back to Detroit, obviously, I think plays that he will.
He will, and if he says he will, he will, but there is something about it, like, you could make the argument for either or right now with that second Cy Young and the 2 World Series he had.
Yeah.
Like, the most of the success he had in his career,
Of course.
came in Houston,
I mean,
unfortunately.
it just has, yeah. The MVP in Detroit, I like, really plays.
Yeah.
A pitcher winning the MVP, pretty unheard of. Kershaw, Verlander, but like...
But if he can put together a halfway decent season and the Tigers actually get to a World Series again and potentially win it, like, Tigers chasing a World Series, Verlander being back, they go together because those two things wouldn't be happening. Verlander wouldn't be back if the first thing wasn't happening.
Right.
So that's why I have it as my second storyline. I also am very curious to see what version of Verlander we get paired up with Chris Fetter and this rejuvenated version of him. Because last year there was really 2 versions of him. Pre-All-Star break, the Giants were 0 for 7, or he was 0 for 7 with a 4.70 ERA. Post-All-Star break, 4-4 with a sub-3 ERA. Those are 2 completely different stories of the season. So I am curious to see what version of Justin Verlander we get. You mentioned last dance for this Tigers team, that it's not quite a true last dance because you have McGonigal and you have Green. I'd almost say it's closer to a last dance than not, though, because of the pitching staff. 4 of the 5 starters after this season are free agents. We know Skubal's not coming back. We have no idea if Verlander's coming back, but even if he is, it's like he's awesome to be here because he's the 3rd or 4th guy. If you're asking him to be more than that, then I think it's a little bit different. Casey Mize, free agent, could be. I'll get more into Casey Mize in a different storyline a little bit later on. Jack Flaherty, another one. The pitching staff, no matter what next year, is going to look completely different. Not to say it's going to be bad, because you have Melton and you have Job, guys that you're intrigued by.
Olsen as well.
And Olsen, guys that have upside, but it's going to look a lot different. And it's not going to be as good as it is right now.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it, is it's just going to be different, because I don't think they're like screwed as far as, well, their pitching staff's going to be terrible next year. Because, like you said, Jackson Job probably will be the star of the rotation next season with Framber Valdez.
It's a dice roll, though.
It is.
There's no guarantee there.
Troy Melton, you feel pretty confident in, obviously starting the year on the injured list, so hopefully at some point this season he'll be, getting back to those steps. And then Reese Olson will be coming back. And there's all these project guys that the Tigers have had pitch some starting innings in the last several seasons that maybe one of them earns a role this year as hey, next year this guy is firmly in the rotation, whether that's Gibson Long, Montero. There's a couple guys in the minors that have a chance for that too. But yeah, it's going to be different, and it's going to be worse. It just truly is. They're not going to have the depth in the starting rotation that they have this season.
Well, I have 10 storylines, and I've only gone through 2 of them, and we're 14 minutes into the show and have to take a break. We'll try to speed through some more of them when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. It's Tigers opening day. We've got March Madness back on. You were saying earlier that this is a bad week for sports because of the in-between of March Madness and opening day before that. What are you talking about,
Hold
man?
up.
This
Press
is
the brakes.
incredible.
I said that the Monday through Wednesday of this week is really rough because you're just waiting. But I also said pre-show, this day, today, I'd love to hear feedback on this. This has got to be a top 10 day in the world of sports, right? Correct?
For 2026, the way everything lines up, yeah, I would say so.
Maybe even top 5. Opening day and Sweet 16 of March Madness on the same day in Frozen 4?
Except the best game of March Madness today is at 10:05.
Yeah.
Which is Just insane.
You got to catch baseball. I got to catch Dodgers Diamondbacks, you know?
And the thing that's kind of swept under the rug right now, which rightfully so, it's going to be third, Frozen Four tournament. A lot of people into college hockey these days.
Right.
Michigan State, both 1 seeds. Michigan State's in action at 1:30 today. A lot of good stuff coming up.
I think it's a top 5 day. I really do.
This weekend in general is just kind of insane.
It's an insane weekend.
Starting today. And Thursday, I've said it before, I've said it again. Thursday's a new Friday. Once you get to Thursday, you're cruising.
Hot take.
And once we're here with the Tigers on, with March Madness starting, it does feel like the weekend gets to start a little bit early here. All right, we got to get to a break. We'll get to our other Tigers storylines heading into the season when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show, the 9 o'clock hour. As always, is brought to you by our friends at Iron Stack Technology. They help us, understand all the IT. They help businesses stay secure, efficient, and ready for what's next, so you can focus on your mission instead of your technology. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. You can check them out online at ironstacktechnology.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.
Top storylines heading into the Tigers season. Tonight, this afternoon, I guess I should say, 4:30, they take on the Padres. There's a righty on the mound, so all of the Tigers' left-handed hitters should should be able to have a good game. So we already did our first two storylines. Skubal three-peating. Verlander chasing a World Series back in a Tigers uniform. Number 3, still holding off on Kevin McGonigal. I've got Tigers taking advantage of the ABS system at number 3. You watch Netflix, the game yesterday? They could not...
Chisholm and Chill? Yeah, I watched it.
They could not stop talking about the ABS system. Nonstop for 3 hours. It felt like that's all they could talk about. They couldn't go 10 minutes without letting it go. I'm hesitant to buy into the ABS system and really embrace it because I think this is going to drastically change some teams' future this season. Outlook this season, I guess I should say. There's going to be teams that are excellent at taking advantage of the ABS system. There's going to be teams that are poor at it. And the teams that are poor at it are going to suffer because they're going to burn them early on in the game. And then a call that's questionable or around the zone, they're not going to be able to challenge in the 8th or 9th inning when it actually matters. To be able to save them and use them successfully and get them back, the teams that are the best at that are going to have an incredible advantage over the teams that are not. And the Tigers, over the past couple of seasons, have not been a very disciplined team at the plate when it comes to understanding the strike zone. Riley Green last year, 31% chase rate. Kerry Carpenter, 34% chase rate. Javi Baez, 46% chase rate. The only guy that's a staple of the lineup that actually has an excellent eye at the plate is Gleyber Torres for the first half of the year, and Spencer Torkelson has a pretty good eye as well. Scott Harris has preached since the day he showed up controlling the strike zone. Okay, it's time to actually do that because now it matters more than ever, is knowing the strike zone, being disciplined, and knowing when or when not to challenge. Because in my mind, Tarek Skubal is for sure burning an ABS challenge in the first 2 innings of today, which makes me concerned, to say the least. I am very curious to see how the Tigers utilize the ABS system. For as forward-thinking as Scott Harris is, for as great of a manager as we believe A.J. Hinch is, are they going to be able to channel it and use it to their advantage? That's my number 3 storyline heading into the year.
You think it's going to play that big of a deal, huh?
I do.
I just really don't. Like, I think it's going to take a while for teams and players to adjust to it as far as, like, when is the strategy aspect of it the best time to use it. Because, like you said, it's probably not smart to just use it in the 2nd inning. Now, it's obviously you want to use it in a situation where, like, if there's 2 outs, 2 strikes, you get a strike 3 called on, you don't think so. Like, stuff like that, runners on. Like, you want to make sure it's the right situation, and I'm interested to see all of the strategy behind it. And I think, like you said, we believe A.J. Hinch is maybe the best strategic manager in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm not worried that the Tigers aren't going to be effective with the ABS challenge system, but I also don't think it's going to be, like, this big deal where if teams that aren't that good at it, are they all going to stink? Like, I don't think it's going to be like that, right?
No, I don't think it's going to, like, those teams are going to stink. The good teams are going to be good. The bad teams are going to be bad. But come playoff time, the teams that have been bad at this kind of stuff all year, you get to the 9th inning, you still have one of your ABS challenges to use. Like, there's going to be teams that are disciplined with it and teams that are not. And the teams that are not disciplined with it, it's going to cost them games at some point. You know?
Yeah, if you're JB Bickerstaff and use it in the 2nd inning every time.
Oh, my God. JB would be using it in the first 2 innings of every game. If I'm a manager, I don't know if there's anything I might be telling my team, we're not using it in the first 4 innings.
You're keeping it in your back pocket. You have to.
Yeah, I might be telling my guys, like, hey, we're not using these in the first 5 innings of today's game unless there's a situation where it's like 2 outs, you've got runners on 1st and 2nd, and your best player's up, and you think you have a bogus call. Like, okay, then maybe you're using it. But is there any pitchers that kind of bark at the umpires as much as Tarek Skubal has the last couple of years? And that's a genuine question.
I mean, there's a good amount of pitchers that do it, but yeah, Skubal is right at the top of that list. 100%.
I'm a little fearful that guy's just going to go rogue and be like, no, challenge that. And it's going to cost the Tigers early on in these games. And then they're really going to need it, the ABS challenge, in the 9th inning or in a big-time situation. and they're not going to have one. All of a sudden, Gleyber Torres gets called out on a third strike when it's clearly a ball, and just like that, you don't even get to challenge because Skubal used it early. I'm fascinated as to how much it can impact teams that are good on it and teams that are bad. Is it going to swing an entire division? Probably not. But will it swing some games? Absolutely.
Are you pro ABS?
I'm hesitant to be.
I really don't know. I don't know yet. Like, because I was like all on board until the World Baseball Classic, and obviously they didn't have it there, and it just made me think. Like, obviously we already discussed this, but like the moment of strike 3 being called and Venezuela wins, like, or it was against the Dominican Republic, strike 3 called against Juan Soto when they were eliminated. It was the worst strike call of the World Baseball Classic. If that gets challenged, though, it ruins a lot of these ends of the games where people celebrate and this and that, but they can't because, oh, wait, we got to look at this and challenge it. And two, the thing that I'm worried about is if you know you have your ABS challenge, like you know you have it late in a game, are you like way less aggressive at the plate?
Yeah.
Like knowing that like, oh, it's 3-2. If we get a walk right here, this gets the bases loaded for the next guy. I'm just not going to swing unless it's like right down the middle and I'm going to use the challenge. Like
the fundamental aspect of, hey, 2 strikes, got to protect the plate has gone away a little bit because of ABS.
A little bit. Like it certainly has not gone away completely. Like not really at all.
That was my argument in the World Baseball Classic, though. Was it 6 inches outside of the little box that they put on TV? Yeah, but there's also 2 strikes and that box doesn't exist when you're sitting there as a batter. You have to protect the plate. You got to at least foul it off. That is somewhat of a lost art now.
If the ball's at your ankles, then like,
but it wasn't.
What are you supposed to do? I mean, it was clearly a ball though. Like it should have never been called a strike.
I wish that whether it's Netflix, ESPN, NBC, I wish they would take that stupid box away from the broadcast so fans could see how hard it is to call it as an umpire and the ticky-tacky that we're using the ABS system with.
I'm interested to see what NBC does because ESPN has shifted away from the full box. They have like the shaded box where you can't really see it, but
you
like
gotta really look close.
You kind of can because I think they understand that fans don't, like you said. I mean, I agree. The box on TV,
it's so easy to be like, well, that was a ball.
Yeah, well, the box isn't there in real life. It's like the first down marker. What he picked up the first down. He obviously did. But you really can't tell. Like,
but the first down markers. Yeah, you're right. It's similar. How it's different,
though, the box is definitely more different, though, yeah.
And it's not like this is part of baseball in my mind of a catcher being able to work the zone throughout a game and a pitcher being able to work the zone throughout a game to try to get it a little bit more expanded and framing. Like the art of being a Gold Glover behind the plate is also a little bit lost because of the ABS challenge system now of being able to frame pitches. Like that's gone. For the most part,
frame mogging is gone.
Frame mogging's gone. That part is a little bit frustrating to me. I think it's a huge, and maybe this is like the torpedo bats from 2 seasons ago, where it's like huge storyline first month and then it just goes away. But I think going into the year, this is the biggest storyline across baseball.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
It totally is. I'm very interested to see how it is because I thought I was going to be pro ABS, and now I just don't really know until I'm going to see more of it.
I'm not going to say I'm totally out on it because all the changes that Rob Manfred has made to baseball over the past few years, whether it's you can only throw it over to first base. There's only two disengagements now.
Yeah.
The pitch clock, all of which, the ghost runner on second, all of which has been great for the game. Maybe this falls into that group. I'm hesitant to believe so. We are so behind because I'm only through 3 Tiger storylines.
We're ripping ABS for a while.
I still have 7 more Detroit Tigers storylines, but we got to get to a break. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on 100.9 The Mitt. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, the experts who do the job right the first time. Whether you have a leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking a little tired, Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. More storylines to get to because the Tigers, well, they play baseball today. I think we were supposed to get through all 10 of those storylines in the first 2 segments.
Wishful thinking, yeah.
Yeah, we're through 3. And, well, we're already behind.
Good thing we have 3 hours.
That's true. Let's get into storyline number 4. Here we go, the one you've been waiting for. Kevin McGonigal, AL Rookie of the Year chase. There's been 3 players that have led their team in WAR as rookies the past 3 seasons. Julio Rodriguez, Gunnar Henderson, and Nick Kurtz. I don't think it's completely off the table for Kevin McGonigal to do that and be the best player, the best impact of offensive players that the Tigers have. I would still, life dependent on it, pick Riley Green to be the bat for this team. But I don't think it's impossible for Kevin McGonigal as soon as this year to take that title from him. It would happen later on in the year, but I don't think it's crazy.
No, it's certainly not crazy because, I mean, you gave those examples, and I will say those teams didn't necessarily already have a star in place to, like it wasn't like, Kurtz last year for Oakland just having himself a crazy season. Like, it made sense because they had solid bats on that team. And
even if they had stars, though, I don't think anybody was out doing what he did last year.
Right. I mean, his season last year was unreal. But I do think, like, the Tigers are in a similar situation. They have solid bats, but they have a guy that is definitely creeping above everyone else in Riley Green. His back-to-back All-Star season, 35-plus home runs last year, 110 RBIs, like, had himself a really good season. So, yeah, it would be difficult for McGonigal. Like, it's an upward battle for him to come out and outperform Riley Green and be the best bat on the team. Is it a good thing if it's a conversation or not, though? Like, because this is what I've been thinking about. If I just told you right now, Kevin McGonigal, by the end of the year, is the best bat on the Tigers, is that good or bad? Does that mean McGonigal had such an awesome season where, like, wow, they have this star franchise player? Or is it the opposite where you think, oh, well, that means Riley Green underperformed, and that means Riley Green did not take a leap ahead from being a back-to-back All-Star season, and he let a rookie come in and outperform him?
I think
which would you think is more likely, I guess, if I just told you McGonigal is the best guy on the team?
I think it's more likely that McGonigal was just insane. I also think, like, if you're saying it's a bad thing, it definitely means Riley Green took a huge step backwards. I'm not betting on that. I don't think that's going to happen. So if McGonigal is crazy, I think it just means Riley Green stayed the course.
Yeah, which is still a pretty good player.
A really good player.
Yeah.
Another all-star, that would mean. And McGonigal was just unbelievable as a rookie. So I think if you told me that that's what happens, I think 9 times out of 10 it means McGonigal was just crazy as a rookie, which I'm fine with. There's also been some real buzz the last couple of weeks about his defense because there was always a question of whether he was a true shortstop or if he was going to be moved to third or second. He's made some really nice defensive plays in spring. Not that I'm sitting down and watching plays, or watching like full games. There's been some web gems to pop up though where I'm like, whoa, what is this? McGonigal's he's just always in the right spot.
Yeah, the beat writers have really talked him up, too, throughout spring as far as and A.J. Hinch did as well. Like, I mean, he was never really a true shortstop. Ideally, he played second base, and the Tigers he'd be the third guy in line to play second base, because Colt Keith basically is a second baseman, too, at the end of the day. So the fact that he has shifted himself into, and we're going to find out, it's much different at the big league level. The guy never even played in AAA. So, like, it's going to be a big step up playing defensively in the major leagues at short. But I'm excited to see how he does.
My number 5 storyline is somewhat adjacent to this. 4 was can he win Rookie of the Year, which would mean the Tigers get an extra draft pick. My 5th storyline is can Kevin McGonigal have the number 1 seen jersey in Comerica Park by the end of the year and become the fan favorite? I'm fascinated by this, of how quickly the Tigers fans embrace him as the guy, the face, knowing that, hey, a season from now, Tarek Skubal might not be here. Riley Green maybe or maybe has not hit his ceiling. Like, we don't necessarily know that. But are fans going to be willing to jump right to, hey, Kevin McGonigal, this is our guy. Everybody's got his jersey. Number 7 is everywhere. It's the single digit. That also helps.
I rock with number 7.
I don't think people are buying Baez jerseys as much anymore. I don't think people are buying Torkelson jerseys as much anymore. Not to say that people don't have those jerseys.
Those are probably the 2 most worn jerseys, though, I would say.
Over Green?
I would think so. We've had this conversation so many times. Javi Baez has the most jerseys. Like, he just does. You go to a game, you see more Javi jerseys than anybody.
Well, can McGonigal pass him with that single-digit number 7? I'm fascinated by this.
I would say to the answer to the first part of the question, no. I don't think he'll be the most worn jersey by the end of the year. Now, the fact that they have the new jerseys plays, though, because everyone wants to get the new jerseys, and then you're like, well, who do I get? I don't want to get Scooble because he's going to be gone. Javi Baez is not going to be here long term.
I think a lot of people are going to get new Verlander jerseys.
That's what I was going to say. The Verlander jersey might be just from like if you went to a Tigers game, what guy has the most jersey on? Because
Verlander.
everyone has an old Verlander jersey in their closet that they're going to just bring back out now.
Even last year, Verlander might have been a top 3 jersey
Exactly.
you see in Comerica.
Yeah, totally. So like now the fact that he's back on the team, that's why I say no. But to the answer of like will the fans fall in love with him to be the face of the franchise, I think yes. But here's the one issue, because most of Kevin McGonigal's time in this Tigers organization up until the last month or two has been like in a negative sense from the fans because it was like a hatred towards Scott Harris. Scott Harris cares way too much about Kevin McGonigal and Max Clark and not about the team right now. Who cares about those guys? They got to care about the team right now. And so the fans almost not viewed McGonigal in a negative sense, but just the idea of him was like not a favorable thing by any means.
Yeah, it was like, we're going to put off winning now so we can win when he's here.
Exactly. Which like that makes fans upset. And
Of course
it should. It absolutely should. Well, now that he is here, I'm interested to see how the fans react to that, because there's a reason why Scott Harris talked him up so much. There's a reason why Scott Harris at the trade deadline last year was like, yeah, our team's pretty good, but like next year we're going to be awesome.
Yeah, if he starts the year like 0 for 7 in the first 2
I think
games,
everyone's going to be super mad.
Yeah. There's going to be the irrational fans that are like freaking out asking why he's on this team through 2 games.
Yeah.
Have I ever told you the story of I went to Cade's second game ever?
I don't think you've told me this, no.
I went to Cade Cunningham's second game ever in LCA. I don't think it was the opener, but I think it was his second game there. And he had a couple bad turnovers because, it was like his second home game, whatever. And he missed the first couple weeks of the season too, remember, his rookie year because of some ankle injury. And there's fans that were so pissed. Isaiah would never, after he threw the ball over. It's like, bro, what are you talking about, man? Why are you so pressed about this?
Crazy.
Give him time. Scott Harris said it yesterday. AJ Hinch said it yesterday. Give him a little bit of time.
Didn't play at the AAA level. Like
there's going to be an adjustment.
We got to keep that in mind. Yeah. Now, if he's awesome right away, yes, I absolutely think the fans are going to be like, yeah, this guy's he's the truth. Like he is the guy.
Like, can he do what Roman Anthony did last year for Boston, where it was just like, yeah, overnight this guy became the number 1 dude for this franchise?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like Anthony was the number 1 prospect in baseball for the longest time, and McGonigal has been the number 2 for the longest time. But like,
number 1 guy's not starting on the Pirates.
It'd be difficult for McGonigal to do what Anthony did. I would say.
Well, yeah, that was.
I mean, he was
incredible.
awesome. Yeah, and he's an MVP candidate this year. Like,
okay, those are my 2 McGonigal storylines, and guess what? We still have 4 more to get to.
Can I read a YouTube chat that throws a storyline in?
Sure.
Michael says the biggest storyline I've seen online is how people are going to watch the games.
Oh, man. Well, we do have some good news for. I guess I can reiterate this for people who don't know already. The Tigers did come to an agreement with some local cable providers. So if you pay for cable, you should be able to watch them.
Well, it depends on if you pay for Spectrum and if you pay for Comcast and Xfinity.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now so I can give everyone.
But the people who have DirecTV, people who have Dish Network,
they got screwed. Yeah, it's if you have Charter or Spectrum and you live in Alpena, Detroit, Dulles, Superior, Flint, Saginaw, that's us, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Lansing, Marquette, Traverse City, they're going to be on channel 213. If you live in Livonia, they're on 291. They're on 307 or 1307 if you live in Fort Wayne, Green Bay, Appleton, or Toledo. And they're on 436 if you're watching on the Spectrum app. As for Comcast and Infinity, they're on 1253. Boom. That's how you can watch the Tigers.
Yeah, but you have to have Spectrum, and you have to have Comcast or Xfinity.
Yeah.
Who has that? The people who really got screwed were the DirecTV subscribers because the FanDuel Sports Network was on DirecTV, and it is, of course, now not. So those are the people who
and anyone
truly
with
got screwed.
YouTube TV or Hulu Live, because you also don't get to watch them. But you didn't get to before I.
But you can watch them on MLB Network today.
That's right.
Because of Tarek Skubal.
989-837-6125. We'll keep going on the Tiger storylines when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Scott Family Dental, they bring us our bright smiles that you can see live on YouTube, by the way. Where comfort care and clean teeth come in a standard. Locally owned by Brandon Scott, a native of the Great Lakes Bay region. The business is family-focused. They treat patients of all ages like ones of their own. From routine checkups to whitenings, crowns, and more, they've got the tools and the gentle touch to keep your smile shining. Friendly staff, modern tech, and zero judgment, even if it's been a while since your last visit. So go ahead, show off those pearly whites. Scott Family Dental has your back and your teeth.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building. by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, let's keep rocking. Let's knock out one or two more Tiger storylines. We'll finish all these at some point. I really thought this was going to take like 20 minutes to go through all these. Boy, was I wrong. It's going to make the rest of the show easier for us, I guess. We'll get to the news. We'll do a fun segment where we get to do Dusty May versus Tom Izzo, who's a better coach. I am excited about that. Talk to Chris Castellani at 11 o'clock. I want to keep doing more storylines as well, though. We'll do around the league. Don't worry. Where did we leave off? Oh, McGonigal. Next one. Riley Green. A topic we've been doing for a year and a half. Is he a star or is he a superstar? I think this is the year we find out. If he's got another step to take, it has to come after last year where it was polarizing. He had the 200 strikeouts. If he can eliminate all that and walk more and be more disciplined at the plate with his chase rate, I think we do have a potential superstar on our hands. As of right now, he's still a star. But I think if you don't get there by the time that I think he turns 26 in September, it's probably not going to happen. I'm willing to say it does. I really think that this is the year that he puts it all together and is all the best stuff from his rookie season, or not his rookie, but like early on in his career, we had the high batting average mixed with the home run volume that he had last year with the 36 bombs. So I think he puts it all together this year, and we do see what's more of a superstar season than just a regular all-star season.
Yeah, I just like him. I'm struggling to figure out, is it okay if he's just a star? Like, that's
Totally.
the tough part, because a star player is a really good player, and that's where I think Riley Green fits, and I think it's fine if he's not a superstar. But you're right, this is the year we find out, because it kind of parlays into your last two storylines.
Exactly.
Like McGonigal. Like, if McGonigal is the superstar, then we're okay if Riley Green is not the superstar. Can you have two of them? Well, of course.
Sure.
Why
The
not?
more the merrier.
That'd be great. But yeah, like, this is the season that we find out, because there actually is some competition to Riley Green as far as, like, there hasn't been. I mean, Spencer Torkelson and him were always the duo, but Riley Green has, like, always been a level above Torkelson, even going back to when they were both in the minor leagues together. Like, Torkelson was the number 1 overall pick and everything, but Riley Green was always viewed as the higher prospect, and it's been that way ever since they've been in the league together.
Well, Torque was the slugger, and Riley Green was the more complete player. And
Right.
now Riley Green is also a slugger. So, yeah, one's just ahead of the other.
And Spencer Torkelson was much more consistent last season. Riley Green still had the better year, but, like, Torkelson was, you knew what you were getting from him all season long.
He's
That was
the most
nice.
consistent player. In the entirety of the season, all 162 plus the playoffs, Torque was the most consistent
Yeah,
player.
how many days do you think he spent under 800 OPS last year?
0?
Single digits. I think it was 6 games last year where he was under an 800 OPS.
Yeah.
And it always got right back up. Like, it wasn't these dips of he was always right around there. And so that's good. It's nice to have that consistent bat. But for Riley Green, the competition now has a chance to be there. I'm not saying McGonigal will come in right away and be like, this guy's the new superstar, but there's a chance that it happens. And so it puts not pressure on Riley Green, but there finally is a conversation of, well, if he's not the superstar, then this guy is. We've just kind of given Riley Green that status because, I mean, the Tigers are a good team. On a good team, they probably have a superstar.
And the fact that they didn't add any external bats, which we've talked about 100 times, it leads to us, maybe not pressure is not the right word, but an expectation for McGonigal to deliver.
Sure.
It also puts just as much of an expectation on Riley Green to, hey, all that garbage that you had as a part of your game last year, you got to cut some of that out. Like that, some of that has to be eliminated from your game. And all of a sudden, just like that, your best player eliminates all the bad aspects of his game. Yeah, the Tigers are going to take a step forward offensively if everything else stays the same. Now, there's some players that are due for some natural regression, like Zach McKinstry and Javi Baez, but you can make up for that by Riley Green getting out of his comfort zone a little bit and getting a more disciplined zone when he's sitting in the box. Because, again, last year that chase rate was just way too high. The strikeouts were way too high. The 3-pitch at-bats were just way too high. If that can all get down to an average level for stars across Major League Baseball, I think we are talking about Riley Green as one of the better players in the American League.
Well, or like there's a chance where this goes the other way too. The strikeouts, chase rate, walk rate, all that stuff stays the same.
That would be a disaster.
He just hits 45 home runs, and then you're fine, right? Because that's the world. That's he can take the Kyle Schwarber route. Yeah, I'm going to strike out a ton, and I'm going to hit 240. But I'm going to hit close to 50 homers.
Yeah, but
you're cool with that if that happens. You are. I mean, you absolutely are.
I'm cool with that. You're cool with that. Tigers fans should be cool with that. But I don't think that's his goal for this season. You know, it'd be one thing if he doubled down. He's like, I'm trying to hit home runs more. But that's not what he said going into the year, which would make me think if that's what happens, it's an adjustment on the fly rather than his goal going into the year. They want to control the zone. Riley Green wants to be a more complete player. He wants to, like the exact quote was, take what the game gives him. And sometimes a single is okay. Sometimes a slap shot into the outfield is okay if it helps the team. That's the goal going into the year, not for him to take a step forward in the home runs. If that happens, great. But I don't think that's what Riley Green is attempting to do going into the year based on everything he's told us throughout training camp.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I just think that, you know, if that's something that he does improve, hits more bombs this season, over-unders at 27.5, which is extremely low, by the way.
Take the over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of overs I like with the Tigers, including their plus money to win the AL Central. In what world do they not win the AL Central? It would take a malfunctioning offense. All right, more when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.
The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, 989-837-6125. We are cruising along here on a Thursday. But Thursday, I mean, it's the new Friday with Tigers baseball and March Madness picking back up tonight. We've got Michigan State hockey at 1:30. I'll let you choose, Kyle. Choose your own adventure. Do you want to do a little March Madness here and put a pin in the conversation we were just having of the top storylines heading into the year? Because we still have 4 more of those. Or would you rather jump into this March Madness Tom Izzo, Dusty May situation and question that we have for everybody?
Let's do a little March Madness, right? We can get back to this Tiger stuff. We're talking to Chris in a little bit. Let's talk about Tom Izzo and Dusty May.
I figured that's what you would say.
Yeah.
I have a simple question for everybody. Who is a better coach, Tom Izzo or Dusty May? And you asked me this yesterday, and I was like, oh, man, my head started hurting because I couldn't think of an answer. And I actually have a cop-out answer, an appease everybody answer, that I actually think is the right answer. I think Tom Izzo is the better coach, and I think Dusty May is the better GM, which in college basketball today is part of being a coach. I think Dusty May is better at constructing a roster and picking up transfers and landing recruits. But I think Tom Izzo is better at development and on-the-court coaching and getting the best out of your players. It's really a choose-your-flavor type of thing. What flavor do you like more? What's better, vanilla or chocolate ice cream? There's not a right or wrong answer. It's a preference. If you want to focus on development and a really high floor in in-game adjustments, Tom Izzo's your guy. If you want fastest way to the top, championship potential, we're rolling the dice here. Inconsistency on who's in a lineup on a year-to-year basis. Ton of turnover, but, man, it's worked out for the first 2 years. Then Dusty May's your guy. I think it's a choose-your-flavor type of thing. So my cop-out answer is Tom Izzo's the better coach, Dusty May's the better GM, which matters in 2026.
All I heard was Tom Izzo's the better coach, which the question is who's the better coach, correct?
Yeah, that is the question.
This is your cop-out way of just not saying that Tom Izzo's the better coach. It's obviously Tom Izzo. Like, it's so obvious.
I don't think it's that obvious,
And I
man.
saw one of these rankings the other day that had, ranking the 16 coaches left in March Madness, and Dusty May was ranked higher than Tom Izzo.
Well, Dusty May was 3rd and Tom Izzo was 6th. That was insane. Is
I
that
think
the same thing you were talking
was
about?
Yeah, Patino was higher than. I mean, it was just some random guy's ranking, so like it's not anything to take any real thought and consideration into. It just depends on. There's multiple angles of this. Of course, people can say like, "What do you mean? Is this legacy be involved in this at all, or is this right now? Boom! In the day of 2026, who's the better coach?" Because if you're taking that aspect, I could see the Dusty May argument. I could see it potentially. We got to remember, like Izzo swept MSU or swept Michigan last year. Michigan sweeps Michigan State this season.
Who's been to a Final Four more recently?
Dusty May was not the coach of Michigan.
This has nothing to do with the argument that we're talking about right now.
Good point. Yeah, sure. I guess you're right. Dusty May then would be your answer in the wackiest tournament we've seen in really a long time.
Yeah.
No, I'm not taking it away from him, but it was a San Diego State played in the national title game.
I feel like it's the last true wonky March Madness tournament we're going to have for a while.
Probably. I would agree with you. From that, I mean, it was so wacky. Like, just the weirdest Final Four, weirdest Elite Eight you ever will see. And so, it's funny, too, because, by the way, Izzo and Dusty May almost played in the Elite Eight of that tournament, but that Kansas State game, they lost. Anyways, I think legacy just has to play into it, though. It's like when you say, like, who are the best players in the NBA, and it's just so difficult to not, like, add in what they bring, the baggage they bring. It's why Kevin Durant will always, like, make his way into the list, 'cause it's like, he's Kevin Durant.
Steph.
It's LeBron. It's Steph. Like, you have to include it. It's so hard to be like, I'm not taking the legacy into consideration.
So, I mean, it's the
How
same
can
thing
you
with
not?
Mahomes. People think Josh Allen's been better the last 2 years, but
Right.
there's no way I can just put him over Mahomes.
I agree with you in the fact that Dusty May is simply better at building a roster. I mean, obviously, he's put that on full display. And that's why I immediately shut down all these rumors of Dusty May might go to UNC. Last offseason, it was, well, he might return home to Indiana. He's going to go coach the Hoosiers. Why would he? What he loves to do is build a great team, and he has all of the resources and tools to do so in Ann Arbor. So I immediately shut down all of that stuff. Tom Izzo, though, what has his thing always been? his long-term development of players. Take Carson Cooper for an example. Look at Carson Cooper when he came in at MSU. He's supposed to redshirt his freshman season. That's another reason why maybe some people think he might be able to get a fifth year, whatever. That guy, we used to trash him so much for he should never see the court. He should never touch the ball. And now
he was the worst rotation player in the Big Ten, and I don't think it was close.
That could be a stretch. Worst rotation. I mean, he was the starting center. There was probably like a ninth man
he
that was worse.
Awful.
Worst starter. I think I could agree with. And he has turned into, like, I think a top 3 player on this team. Truly. I really do believe that.
Top 4 for sure.
Cohen's
top 3 maybe.
Cohen's shaky. I think Cooper's become incredibly consistent, though.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And so that's why I would probably put him in that number 3 spot. And even, like, they're going up in this game against UConn tomorrow night. Terrace Reed had 31 and 27 or whatever for UConn in game 1. I kind of like Cooper as a matchup for him. Like, it all goes back to the grand scheme thing of Tom Izzo's development of players and the style that he does it. Some people may not agree with how he's continued to keep his old ways in the big age of 2026.
I was going to say, I don't think it's people don't agree. People think it's outdated. But
people think it's outdated
right now,
but he's in the Sweet 16, and he was in the Elite 8 last year. Sure, does he not have the roster of an Auburn last year of all those 1 seeds that he couldn't get to?
You mean the G League team?
Yeah, the 26-year-old team? Exactly. Like, does he have Michigan's roster? No. And if you want to give him flack for that, sure. But when I'm asking the question, who's the better coach, I'm going to take the guy that continuously has a insanely proven track record of developing these players from guys that were 3-star, 4-star, even some. I mean, he's gotten 5 stars, of course, but he gets those guys to buy in and stay and build the brand of Michigan State.
And all that stuff is amazing, and it should be applauded. And they're going to build a statue of him in East Lansing for a reason. We're in 2026, man. You have to be able to build a championship roster through the portal, through picking guys up, paying out NIL, and that's something he has actively spoken out against. If you're old school, I would 100% understand. You just can't be convinced of some of this stuff, and you like the fact that he can develop players. And again, that shouldn't be considered a knock on him. There's not a lot of coaches that probably can still do it the way that Tom Izzo can. He's top tier in doing so. But he doesn't bring the other stuff to the table, and I think that's why, even with the success that Michigan State has seen the last 2 years, it does feel like there's usually a ceiling, and that ceiling is before you get to a national championship.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I would agree that they have a ceiling. But so you're saying that because if he has his old style, that's why Dusty May's the better coach? Or that's why you're not giving it to Tom Izzo, even though...
Look, I it's so hard for me to pick between these. You seem so adamant that it's Tom Izzo. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
It's too early to crown Dusty May. It's way too early. Like, he last year he
but
lost
is it
in the
going to be
Sweet 16.
too early 2 weeks from now? Like, 2 weeks from now, is it really going to be that early? I don't get the difference between saying it now and saying it in 2 weeks.
I mean, the difference between now and in 2 weeks is they could be national champions in 2 weeks, and right now they're not.
And they're in a position where they could be.
Michigan State's in a position where they could be.
Sure.
They're both still playing.
One of them's the favorites, and I guess favorites lose all the time. Let me ask you this. From an in-game coaching perspective, we love Izzo. The preparation that he has, the game plan, like, usually just psychs the other team out, does a great job against star players, everything like that. Beat Duke, whatever. Have you ever seen anything from Dusty May that would indicate he's a bad in-game coach in those 40 minutes that he has to actually do coaching? I don't think so.
A bad coach? No. I mean, I'm not it's suggesting that.
I don't think so either. I think they're both elite in-game coaches. That's the thing. Izzo just has the reputation behind him of it. I don't even know with Izzo if it's the in-game coaching as much as it is the preparation before the game tips off. That's where I think Izzo is kind of levitating above.
Just think about how many times that they've gone into games and you're like, man, MSU has no business being in this game.
And then look what they do.
And even like this game on Friday against UConn, like UConn's roster is just better, man. And yet Vegas doesn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. This line has stayed at 1.5 for UConn the whole time. They have no idea who's going to win this game.
Well, yeah, because they have point guard Jeremy Fears. I mean, as much as it's kind of crazy for him to say that, considering like all the guards that Kentucky's had and all that.
He's just saying it, yeah. Obviously.
There's a lot of good point guard. And even if it's not like NBA guys, the college guys that stay with Tom Izzo, it helps them win games and go on runs like this. Where would this team be without Jeremy Fears? Probably not in the Sweet 16, I'll tell you that.
Of course not. He's an All-American. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously their best guy.
And the fact that Tom Izzo gets these point guards to stay and these centers to stay more often than not, I guess the center's been a little bit of a revolving door for a while until Cooper has showed up. But the point guard specifically, how he gets them to stay for 3-4 years, and he isn't necessarily targeting the 5-star guys that are going to be one-and-dones. He wants to bring in guys and develop them. That's why Michigan State always ends up outperforming expectations. And then it got to a point where Michigan State was failing expectations because they were so high, when in reality, it's been a long time since he's had those like true elite talent players.
Right.
He doesn't have it right now.
I just wonder, like, does Dusty May have to win the national championship this year for him to for most people to be like, yeah, he's the better coach? Is that what has to happen?
Well, you think it's Izzo right now. What would Dusty May have to do?
I think he would have to. I mean, first off, he has to go further in the tournament than Tom Izzo, because last year he didn't in his first year at Michigan, right? Like that's like the number one first thing of like, okay, yeah, now I can think about it.
Okay.
Which they should do, right? I mean, that probably is going to happen.
You're just completely ignoring the regular season domination that Michigan went on?
No, but like if they lost in the Sweet 16 tomorrow night,
it'd be
like a massive disappointment.
Yeah, you're right.
So like there'd be no way. Like I'm not ignoring all that stuff. I'm with you, but like what was all that stuff for if just to lose in the Sweet 16?
It's fair enough.
So that's the route that I would take there. Like he just has to get further than Izzo, which he should do, and that probably will happen. If he wins the national championship, it'd be pretty difficult for me to say Tom Izzo's still a better coach, right? Like it just would be. The Big Ten hasn't won one since Tom Izzo. Like that's a crazy leap to get over. So I would probably have to say, yeah, Dusty May is better currently.
989-837-6125. Who you got? Who's the better coach? Tom Izzo, Dusty May at this moment in time. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on 100.9 The Mid. Midland Area Community Foundation. They're dedicated to strengthening our community through generosity and connection, supporting local nonprofits, scholarships, and projects that make Midland a better place to live, work, and play. That is the Midland Area Community Foundation.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Let's go to our MIT messages, 989-837-6125, asking everyone, who's the better coach, Tom Izzo or Dusty May right now? Jordan says, historically Izzo, currently Mays. That's not super controversial. I think the Michigan State fans, like the argument you're making right now, Kyle, is Dusty May has got to where Tom Izzo is currently, but he's yet to do something that's like, hey, I took this away from Tom Izzo. You know, he's yet to like take that away, where he may have caught up to him, but he hasn't yet pushed Dusty May down or pushed Tom Izzo down and ran ahead of him.
Yeah, he has the opportunity to do that, of course, if they, go to the Final Four, win the national championship, blah, 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 this and that, which is fair. But I just do think that they have different routes to do so. And you could say, well, Tom Izzo's taking the harder route. It's nothing against Dusty May because his route has worked out for him. But it has been a different route, that's for sure.
Trevor says you can't really compare them. Dusty May's career is much shorter than Izzo's. Coach Izzo is one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time. Coach May could get there eventually. Time will tell.
Yeah, then that's
even keel answer.
That's taking it to a historic perspective, and I'm just interested on what would you say? But right now, who's the better coach currently? Take legacy out of everything. Then that's when the debate really comes up, because obviously if we're comparing their careers, I mean, like, duh, it's Tom Izzo.
I did see a very interesting conversation yesterday on The Ringer debating if Pitino was the best coach left in the tournament, and if he is the best coach all time in college basketball right now. And it did make me think, why would he be over Izzo? But you go back and look over his career, and as much as I hate to admit it, yeah, Pitino probably is the best coach left in the tournament right now, right? I mean, look what he's done. St. John's is in the Sweet 16.
Cool.
You're out.
St. John's being in the Sweet 16 gives him the best coach ever.
Well, from a historic standpoint, yeah. Who do you think's the best coach left in the tournament?
Are we talking currently or legacy-wise? Because I really do think they're totally different.
Currently.
See, I've always been a person that I think Kelvin Sampson or Dan Hurley is probably the best current coach in college basketball.
Love Sampson, but he's yet to get over the hump.
Yet to get, been to the national championship game, been to the Final Four multiple times, not won a national championship. So it feels wrong to crown him. It just has to be Hurley, though, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it just has to be Dan Hurley. Even last year when they had a disappointing season, they were a 9 seed or whatever, they almost beat the team that won the national championship in the second round in Florida. Like, and then this year they're a 2 seed again and going to have a good matchup against Izzo. So, like, I would say Hurley is. That's me. I'm not trying to hate on Pitino either. Like, Pitino is a legend. I do really love Pitino, but I would give it to Hurley.
Marty says Tom Izzo, he knows how to get the most out of his players. May is better at coaching, better at overall coaching, better overall talent. I think Tom Izzo, part of it is he likes the challenge of unlocking the most out of his players, where Dusty's like, hey, man, I need to see the potential. I don't even want to see the potential. Like, let Izzo do that. I want the star players now and how to get them the most out of the best players in the country already.
Right. Yeah.
Again, it's a cup of tea thing. It's a preference thing.
What
do you want in your coach?
Would you rather have the guy that's gone to 1 Final Four or have the guy that's gone to 8 of them? Like,
easy, one's twice as old. How old is Izzo now? 70-something? 71?
70, like 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah. And we looked this up yesterday. Dusty May, kind of sneaky old.
71, yeah. Yeah, Dusty May is like he's like almost 50. Is that what it was?
Yeah. I think he was
can't
49.
believe that.
49 years old, yeah.
I can't
sneaky
believe
old.
That. I would have if I would have been told to guess that, I would have said 39.
I would have said like 40, I think.
Okay, 1 year difference.
Yeah, just to be one closer to the actual age.
Yeah, my bad for that terrible guess. Yeah. This is a good chat right here, and it's kind of sparked a little bit of debate in our YouTube chat. Noah says, I think Dusty knows how to coach talent, but Izzo can build and coach talent, making Izzo better. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to be Dusty May when you bring in the #1 portal class and you have an old man as the best player on your team.
But that's part of coaching, is being able to bring in those players.
Sure, like it totally is, yes.
Maybe not in like here's an interesting like little wrinkle question that's adjacent. Who would be a better NBA coach? I think it'd have to be May, right? the NBA players would
Of course,
would not
of course it would be Dusty May. I mean, that's not even a question.
They wouldn't put up for Izzo for more than like 4 days. They'd be like, "We're doing what this practice? We're running sprints."
Tom
No, we're
Izzo
not.
almost coached LeBron in Cleveland. Like, everyone remembers that in the late 2000s when Tom Izzo to the Cavs, rumors when Dan Gilbert, bought the Cavs, and it was like a huge deal. Izzo's going to go coach LeBron and the Cavs.
Izzo would have been fired within 2 months for sure. They're like, we're defense.
Yeah, that would have just been the worst idea ever. And like, I think it's like when Rick Pitino went to the NBA, like that never worked out. Like, there's been these guys that have gone to the NBA, college guys that are clearly just built to stay. And it's like if Dan Hurley would have went to the Lakers whenever that happened. I think that was 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Before JJ Redick. That would have never worked out. That would have never, ever worked out.
You imagine Dan Hurley screaming at Luka and LeBron to play better defense?
Yeah.
He'd be fired immediately.
Luka. And that's where you look at Dusty May. Like, Dusty May's a player's coach. He does the fun stuff. And not saying Tom Izzo isn't. I mean, the guys love Tom Izzo. But, like, May is, he's a much more even keel, like a laid-back coach rather than the feistiness of an Izzo.
Well, he gets to be laid back when his team is decimating the other opponents. And I've also seen this buzz over since the weekends ended with March Madness that, like, why do Dusty May's peers not like him? Because Izzo's friends with a lot of other coaches in the Big Ten. I mean, even like Greg Campy, Matt Painter, all these guys that play in the Midwest. Everybody loves Tom Izzo because he does so much for basketball in general.
Even Dan Hurley talked about it the other night. Like, everybody loves Tom Izzo.
Whereas I don't get the same vibe with Dusty May, and people are questioning it, why it was the case. I think it's pretty simple. Dusty May's not here to make friends. He wants to run over everybody in his way and wants to embarrass them doing it. I really think it's that simple. I don't think there's any underlying meaning behind it. He's not there to make friends. He's there to win championships.
Yeah, I don't think like he's
kind of like that.
Not like saying this as it's against him or anything. I don't think he's very well favored like by everyone else in college basketball. I don't think people are like,
way, baby.
I don't think people are like Dusty May. That's my man. I love Dusty May. Like, you don't see coaches saying that. And the reason people say it about Izzo is just because he's been here so long. Like, a lot of these coaches grew up idolizing a guy like Tom Izzo, so it makes sense from that perspective, and not saying that can't eventually happen with Dusty May if he becomes like a legendary college coach, but you just don't really see it.
No. I think there's also a little bit of an aspect of like, if you're Matt Painter and you're like, you've been trying to get over the hump and win a natty for so long, and Dusty shows up and in year 2 he actually gets it done, yeah, I'd probably hate him too.
Yeah, or every coach in the Big Ten, because none of them have been able to do it. Yeah, exactly. Even Izzo. That's why Izzo hates Dusty May, man. Like,
I don't blame him though. Like, and I don't blame Dusty May for being, well, I don't really care what these people think of me. We're winning a national championship this year. Can I repeat it next year? I don't know. Probably not. Because of how much turnover there is on a year-to-year basis, you're really taking a gamble. And you know where you don't get that? Is Michigan State. There's just going to be such a high floor every year because you're not going to have the same turnover as most other schools in the country. You're going to be on the lower end of, transfers and turnovers.
But if you can win a
moving
national
out.
championship, then who cares about next year?
Exactly. Most people trade in 5 bad years for one national championship. How many other coaches could win a natty with the Michigan roster is a question we just got.
Pretty good question. Pretty good question, right? I mean, they might have the best roster in college basketball.
Probably a lot, but here's maybe the better question I'd throw back to this person. How many coaches across the country could put this roster together? How many of them could go target the right players?
Any coach that has that type of asset pool?
Sure, but it's not like Ade Mara was this crazy 5-star transfer. Like Yaxel was,
sure.
of course.
You're
but
right, yeah.
Morez
It's not like they
Johnson,
just got the top 5 guys or anything. You're right, yeah.
Morez Johnson and Ade Mara were guys that he targeted and were like, I think we can build something here.
Good point.
It wasn't a coincidence that, he builds things in the transfer. Yeah, but intentionally with like articulate thought behind it on what sort of roster would make sense together. That's why he's been able to do it 2 years in a row with Wolf and Golden in year 1 and with Yax and Mara and Morez in year 2. Like, it's not a coincidence that he just, all these transfers worked out. He built a roster before this actually played out like that. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. It's a good point because, like, you have a team like Kentucky who just had this crazy amount of money to spend in the transfer portal, and it didn't really work out for them. And they also offered Yax. I mean, like, Dusty May did convince Yax Lendenberg to come to Michigan over Kentucky. Like,
even though they offered him $9-10 million, something like that.
Something like that. I turned it down.
I turned it down.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, and we are live here on 100.9. The Mitt will take a trip around the league when we come back, and we'll get back to the Tigers because it's opening day, baby. Tarek Skubal bump day. I can't wait. Hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it here today just with so much stuff on. I definitely got to get there before 4:30 if I'm going to. But the Greater Midland Community Center, that right there is your hub for health, wellness, and fun right in the heart of Midland. From fitness classes, open gym, swimming, youth sports, family activities, there's something for everybody. Affordable memberships, expert staff, and a welcoming space for all ages and abilities. If you're hosting an event, ask about their rental spaces and full-service event support. Stay active, stay connected, all under one roof at the Greater Midland Community Center. Learn more or sign up today at greatermidland.org.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on one. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
It's baseball opening day. We've got March Madness. You guys know the drill. But we do have to get this in. Let's take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
Do you know not everyone plays today in the majors? I assumed everyone played today.
Well, because most teams have tomorrow off, correct?
Well, the Tigers have Sunday off.
Or that's what it is. Yeah, like
Some
every
teams have
team has a
tomorrow
day off at some point this weekend. Yeah.
Two of the just saddest franchises in baseball, the Rockies and Marlins, are supposed to play. And I guess the MLB just forgot to schedule them today because they don't start until tomorrow. They're like, yeah, you guys don't start.
Yeah.
We want everyone to forget
You don't get
about
to
you
enjoy opening day.
No. All right. Around the league. Today we are, of course, looking at the NFL. And we're going to go over the most improved teams in free agency, according to ESPN's Ben Solak, formerly with The Ringer. Smart guy, has a lot of good insight on things. You're going to be shocked as to where he has the Lions on this.
Okay. What is this again?
The teams that have improved the most during free agency.
Okay.
Number one team. You got any guesses? I was caught off guard by this.
The Raiders?
They're in the top 10. It's the Steelers, though. They bring in Michael Pittman, Rico Dowdle. Interesting additions there. Jamal Dean, Jaquan Brisker, Sebastian Joseph Gray, and Asante Samuel.
I kind of forgot they signed Rico Dowdle.
And they got Pittman for basically nothing.
Yeah, but then they paid him.
Well, forget whatever. If
Sure.
you pay him, you pay him. But they got him for almost nothing. I think they moved up one from the 7th to the 6th round to go get a guy like that. That's a team that desperately needed another receiver. And now all of a sudden, DK Metcalf and Pittman, I'm not calling that like one of the best duos in football, but it's better than what they had last year where it was DK Metcalf and Marvis Valdez-Scantling as their second guy?
Yeah.
I don't even remember who those other guys were.
Scotty Miller. Yeah, it was a bunch of nobodies.
Now they bring in Pittman. That's a real addition for this team. The question that's holding them up is who's playing quarterback for them. And Aaron Rodgers is just, if there was ever a thought crossing your mind, if Aaron Rodgers isn't going to milk this thing out again, he'll be back. What were you thinking? You're talking about Aaron Rodgers. He's going to make this.
Yeah. He'll have a decision made in July.
And he's just going to play again.
Yes, absolutely.
But he's going to hold this thing out for as long as possible, just because eventually people will start talking about him. The draft will go by. The Steelers won't take a quarterback. And then eventually people will just start headlining all their shows. Well, what is Aaron Rodgers going to do?
Yeah.
Is he going to retire? And then he'll come back.
I'm not excited for that. Yeah, I mean, the Steelers did improve, yeah. I'm just interested to see who else is on this list because it's not like they tremendously improved.
The 49ers are number 2. Mike Evans. There's a lot of good upside here.
Yeah.
If Mike Evans is, 70% of the Mike Evans we've come to know, San Fran just became scary again. It's also some insurance for Kittle, who's been injured and out of the lineup.
It's some insurance for their entire receiving room. I mean, everybody has missed time there the last couple of years.
Yeah. They bring Dre Greenlaw back into the mix. Christian Kirk is another veteran receiver that they bring in for some depth where a lot of times last year looked up or like, who's catching passes for this team right now? There's all of a sudden like a pretty healthy amount of depth at the wide receiver position here, which should help out Brock Purdy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I like this. This is a pretty good one, especially with just the amount of healthiness they're going to bring to the board. That's improving nonetheless. And then you add in all those other guys. The Evans signing is definitely one of the bigger and best ones of the offseason.
They just got to hope like their guys from last year, Mikael Williams, that rookie, can continue to keep rising and Kittle can stay healthy. And hopefully they can get, hopefully for the Lions' sake they don't, but for their own sake, Trent Williams, getting him under contract.
Yeah, that's the big question mark. He probably will be back, though. I'd be pretty surprised if he wasn't.
This feels like 3 off seasons in a row where it's like Trent Williams holding out, needs a new contract.
Okay.
Lions are number 3. We have dumped on the Lions free agency for a while here. And I'm not just going to change my mind because of one guy at ESPN's opinion, but this is a nice perspective on things. He says, I love the dart throws. Detroit has more needs than money to throw around, but it did extremely well in taking high upside swings in the margins. Pacheco can't be 100% of David Montgomery, but the Lions don't want that anymore. They want capable, short yardage, pass protection to relieve Jahmyr Gibbs, and they got that with a veteran minimum. Then he gets into guys like Roger McCreary, Christian Eisen, all guys with high upside, could very well hit, a lot of dart throws, very cheap contracts that they threw out to a lot of players. My counter argument to all of this would be they are worse than they were last year, and the edge rusher position is an absolute joke.
Pretty good counter. Like, what's the title of the article? Teams that improved the most?
It's just called NFL Free Agency Class Rankings, Most Improved Rosters.
Yeah, number
know,
3?
man.
Wait a minute.
They deserve to be number 3 at the bottom. I mean, like, sure, you can like all of these signings.
That's the
They did improve, though.
That's the thing. Like, you go through every individual move that the Lions have made here, and you do talk yourself into all of them being good moves in a vacuum. You put them all together, I'm just not sure they're actually a better team.
And look at what they lost. You know, like,
Yeah.
look at the guys that are leaving compared to the guys coming in. They did not improve. You could make the argument that maybe it's not that big of a downgrade, but certainly not improving.
You know who's not mentioned anywhere in this section of the article is losing Alex Anzalone, which could end up being a lot
Why
more-
is he not involved in
a
that?
lot bigger of a deal than people are making out to be, considering Derek Barnes is replacing
He's probably
him.
the best player they lost.
For sure. Him or
Yeah.
Montgomery.
Right.
And then to lose Al-Quadin, I'm not trying to sell everybody that Al-Quadin Muhammad's going to continue to be a double-digit sack guy. I don't. But the difference between him and DJ Woonem is not that big. And the difference from a price standpoint was like $2.5 million. I don't
Right.
get why we couldn't cough up a little bit more money to keep him around. I don't. Hopefully they're not done making moves there, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look great.
It seems like they might be, yeah.
I disagree with having them this high.
I absolutely disagree.
Saints 4, do you really want to touch on that? I'm good.
Nope.
Dolphins 5. I could talk myself into the Dolphins being a little bit higher with the addition of Jalen Waddle, which is kind of cheating because this is supposed to be in free agency, and that was through a trade. But they bring back Dobbins. I was a little bit worried about R.J. Harvey just being like the total workhorse for anyone who had him in fantasy last year. Total disappointment.
Wait, is this the Dolphins or the Broncos?
The Broncos.
Oh, you said the Dolphins.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the
was like,
Broncos.
Dobbins went to the Dolphins?
No, the Broncos. I mean,
Yeah.
what Miami has done to their team.
I was going to say, how are they this high? Like, they...
The Broncos are fifth. I could talk myself into them being higher.
Okay.
I like what they did with Waddle.
I totally do. I mean, Waddle and Sutton should be like a pretty fun duo. We talked about none of them seem to be 1As, but you put two 1Bs together. I think that
Makes
is
a one.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Let's do like two more teams.
Okay.
Patriots sixth. Dobbs is their wide receiver 1 right now.
The guy with the big helmet.
This just has to be the A.J. Brown team, right? It makes too much
I
sense.
don't think Brown's getting traded, right? It seems too
I think
late.
on draft day,
Could be.
it happens.
Could be.
The Patriots need an alpha receiver. Dobbs is much better suited as a wide receiver 2 in my mind. He's got the Vrabel connection. Vrabel could get him under, like, stop being a crazy person. I like it way too much. I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Are any of the NFC North teams in the top 10? Outside of Detroit, of course.
Minnesota's number 10. They bring back they bring in Kyler Murray. That's kind of the big notable one. I think
Right, but-
Murray alone
I mean,
just
that's a
has
pretty
to be.
absolutely. It's the biggest quarterback upgrade of the offseason for any team, so they deserve to be there. How low are the Bears, though?
They're 14. I mean, they
Really?
lost a lot.
I thought they'd be lower, honestly. Yeah, they lost a lot of good players.
Green Bay. Man, I'm still
scrolling.
30. Wow.
Woo! Take that, Matt LaFleur.
That guy sucks. All right, 989-837-6125 around the league. As always, brought to you by Air Insurance. They understand not everyone's insurance needs are the same. They want to work personally with you to create something best suited for your needs, whether it's life, home, auto, physical insurance. It's all available with the Air Insurance Group with Farm Bureau Insurance.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rolling. I want to just knock out the rest of these storylines. We might have to go kind of fast here, but we did our top 10 storylines heading into the Tiger season. We thought we would knock that out in the first 20, 25 minutes of the show. We ended up taking a long time on a lot of them. But to recap, Tarek Skubal three-peat for the Cy Young. Verlander chasing a World Series back in the D. Can the Tigers take advantage of ABS? Kevin McGonigal, Rookie of the Year. Kevin McGonigal, can he be the number one jersey in Comerica Park? Riley Green, is he a superstar or just a star? That's where we've left off. I have 4 more for you, Kyle. Starting with Colt Keith. Is he being phased out? This is the guy that Scott Harris has given the long-term extension to, the only person that's come up through the Tigers organization. On Fangraphs, he's projected to play in 115 games versus 134 last year. I really thought if McGonigal was going to make the opening day roster, it was going to be because Parker Meadows was sent to AAA, but it was Wenzel Perez instead. And Wenzel Perez, as much as A.J. Hinch loves bringing people off the bench and not, he's never someone who's, if he's not playing, is going to come in and pinch hit. He's a bad hitter, which means he's going to be out there every day in center field, in my mind. Which means if Kevin McGonigal is playing shortstop, either Colt Keith or Javi Baez is playing third, which means some days I think Colt Keith is just not going to be in the starting lineup. We thought it was really important for Colt Keith to be an everyday aspect of the lineup and have his position locked down at third base. I don't think that's the case right now. And it does make me think Kevin McGonigal being on the roster also means they might be phasing Colt Keith out a little bit.
I don't want to believe this one, right?
I don't want to believe it either, but he is going to suffer from McGonigal being on the roster. More so suffer from Parker Meadows still being on the roster.
It's probably more of the Meadows thing than anything, yeah. I mean,
because if Meadows was sent down, Javi could be sent to the outfield, and just like that, it's like, hey, Colt, you're playing third almost every day. But Javi can play third. Javi can play short. McGonigal can play third.
McKinstry can play third.
Exactly. Like, Colt Keith does kind of seem like the odd person out right now.
Sure. I don't know, though. To me, it feels like Colt Keith has, I mean, they paid him. Like,
I know.
He was paid. So
before
it feels
he ever
like
played in the majors.
He is going to be, at some point, a mainstay in this lineup. And I thought that them bringing back Gleyber Torres was them committing to Colt Keith. Like, okay, you are the third baseman now. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he is the only, like, true third baseman on the roster right now. He's not even a true third baseman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, though. Like,
Tigers haven't had a true third baseman since...
Like, Javi won't play third base that much, I don't think. I think they would rather just have him come off the bench than rather play third base. Like today in the lineup.
Third baseman.
Today, because Colt Keith is a better bat, and you trust Colt Keith to be part of your future, right?
That's what I'm asking.
Colt Keith
I think
hit
this
leadoff
is a
like the
major
whole back half
storyline going into the year.
Colt Keith was the leadoff man like the whole back half of the year last year against righties. What's the lineup going to be today? Is Javi just going to be out of it, or is Meadows going to be in center field? Like, what's going to happen?
It's either going to be Javi Baez or Colt Keith not in the lineup today, right? Like that's.
You think Meadows is just locked into the lineup? Probably. He probably is. You're probably right. I think Javi just doesn't start today. That's what I think it is. If Colt Keith was not in the lineup today, that would be shocking.
Well, there is a righty on the mound, so yeah, that would make more sense to have Colt Keith in the lineup playing third. So Javi's not in the starting lineup today. Which, I mean, to your point of, hey, they paid Colt Keith, why would they not play him? They pay Javi Baez a hell of a lot more money to play baseball. Why would they not play him?
True.
It's a storyline to monitor nonetheless. And I will say this: whatever one of those two guys is struggling this year more than any other year in the past, there's no waiting up for anybody. Train's moving. You're either on it or we're leaving you behind. Same applies to Parker Meadows. It's really just those, like.
What about Kevin McGonigal? The train certainly is waiting for him. We'll sit here and wait a little bit. I mean, if he's struggling, they're not sending him down.
He's like, what are they? The conductor. He has to be on the train or else the train's not moving.
Right.
But everybody else, like Parker, Colt, Javi, can't wait around for these guys. So that's I'm not predicting him to be phased out, but I am questioning it because McGonigal being on the roster and Parker staying someone's got to suffer from that. And right now it feels like that's going to be Colt, Keith, or Javi. Okay. That's storyline 7. Storyline 8, same verbiage, different player. Is Casey Mize going to get phased out eventually? Troy Melton, currently on IL. He'll be back at some point. Jackson Jobe probably not coming back this year, but you never know. Casey Mize had a really bad spring and had some really questionable quotes about his mechanics and how he doesn't trust them right now and has to get back in the lab. And also, post All-Star break, he was a .492 ERA with an opponent batting average of .280. Ugh. He was not the same player he was in the first half of the year when he was an All-Star. Again, train's not waiting for anybody this year. What are the odds that by the end of the year, Casey Mize is not in the rotation?
I would still say low, right? I would say low.
I don't think it's crazy to say like 25%.
He had a better year last year totality-wise than Jack Flaherty, but at the end of the season last year,
He was leaking
Flaherty
fluid.
was better. Flaherty was the Tigers' number 2 in the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
and
Mize
actually was good.
Mize was leaking fluid.
Not to say like I still would probably rather have Mize than Flaherty this year. Like if I just had to say which one's going to be better, I would just say Mize. Like,
Well, they're telling you it's going to be Flaherty by having him as the number 3 guy.
sure, that's a good point. And this same thing happened to Mize last year. He was the number 5 starter coming in and worked his way to be the number 2 for most of the time. So this one would be tough. I also just think, like you brought this up earlier, how he is an upcoming free agent. I don't see them re-signing Casey Mize.
I don't either.
Like at all, really, just based off of the amount of guys they have coming back for next year. It doesn't feel like they would bring him back. A team would probably be willing to give him a decent deal to take a risk on him. So it wouldn't like shock me, but I certainly would think it's on the low side of things because that means
You and I both really liked Melton last year.
it means A, Melton is like awesome and you have to put him in the starting lineup. You don't want to use him as that long reliever. B, Jackson Jobe comes back, which I think that's probably pretty low chance. Or this
Never
Drew
know.
Anderson character just rocks.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty good in spring.
2 more. And I just saw Gary put this in the YouTube
Really
chat.
good one. Really good one.
Nailed it. That's my number 9.
Really?
Is Carpenter really just a platoon guy? I'm not going to sit here and make the case that I want him to be anything less than that. You're raising your hand?
I have the answer. You asked a question. I have the answer.
Can I make the case first?
Yeah, I'll just keep my hand raised.
Okay. I'm not sitting here saying I want him to be more than a platoon guy because he has shown in his career that that is what he is. Last year he had 47 at-bats versus lefties, and it was a struggle. He had a 638 OPS versus lefties last year. The year before he had a 408 OPS versus lefties on 28 at-bats. I'm not fiending for it. I'm just wondering if we'll get it. Is Kerry Carpenter a platoon bat is my question of a storyline going into the year. Yes. Answer.
Ask the question again.
Is Kerry Carpenter a platoon?
Yes.
Plain and simple.
He absolutely he is the definition of a platoon bat.
One of the best in the league.
One of the it might be the best in the league, but 1000% is a platoon bat. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, especially with the way if we believe Colt Keith might not be this year, AJ Hinch is just not going to have none of them. You know, like he's still going to utilize all the guys on his roster. So Carpenter for sure just is. He will only face righties again. He will have sub 60 at-bats versus lefties. Like it's just going to happen.
I will say I think they should leave him in a little bit longer in these games.
Agree with that.
So he can
Agree with that.
So you don't have to basically if you pull him in the 5th inning of games, that gets frustrating because then if they end up putting a righty back in, you can't put Carpenter back in. I would keep him in there.
Yeah.
I hope he gets a little bit more at-bats because of that scenario.
He also hasn't stayed healthy the last couple of years too. Like he's had a spurt in each of the last couple of seasons where he's missed time. So
yeah.
Okay, you have about a minute for your last storyline.
Last one's very simple. Number 10. Can we hang a doggone banner? Seriously. Do you know how many AL Central banners the Tigers have hung since its creation in 1995? 4. And they won 4 straight.
Yeah, the mid-2010s. Yeah.
It was 2012, 2013, 2014, and then, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. Those are the only banners. Those are the only AL Centrals this team has ever won. Can we please, for the love of God, win the AL Central? For some reason, I feel like we've convinced, in my mind, at least one of the last 2 years we have, it's like the weird Mandela effect thing. We've won at least one banner, right? No, they haven't. They have not won the AL Central in over a decade. Can we please do that this season? That is my last storyline going into the year.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, they have to. based off what happened last year too, like you have to win the division this year. And the division sucks too, so that also plays into this.
Okay. 989-837-6125. We'll talk to Chris Castellani when we come back to preview this Detroit Tigers season. I can't wait. 4:30. We're 5.5 hours away from Tigers opening day. Scoob Bump Day. Let's keep rocking and rolling when we come back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.
This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, welcome back in. We've got our 10 storylines heading into the Detroit Tigers season. Chris Castellani is going to join us here momentarily. I am excited. What was your favorite storyline that I mentioned, Kyle, by the way? I ran through the 10. We had, let me pull it back up. We had a lot of good ones. All right, so the 10 storylines that we had running into the season. I think my number one, like as I said, is Tarek Skubal three-peating. Only 2 three-peats have happened in MLB history, right? Greg Maddux, Rainey Johnson in the 90s and 2000s. They both won 4 straight. Both happened in the NL. So there's never been a three-peat in the American League. Tarek Skubal has the opportunity to do that for the first time in the history of the American League, starting today with Scoobs on the mound in the Tigers opener.
Yeah, my favorite storyline is still just Kevin McGonigal, though.
Which one specifically?
Well, you had the one about him being the superstar, and then what was the other one?
If he can outsell everybody in terms of the jerseys.
I mean,
Can
that
he be
one's
the most
kind of
popular
fun, but
jersey?
it's about him being the superstar of the team. That's my favorite one.
Chris Castellani's joining us here on the show right now. Chris, first of all, happy Scoop Bump Day, man. Happy opening day. I know there's probably not a lot of people as excited as you are right now.
It's always a good time of year, man. And this one definitely I think hits a lot different, but excited for it, man. It should be awesome.
I should have sent this to you. I sent you one of them last night, but I said the 10 best storylines heading into the season. I'll just rip through them. Tarek Skubal three-peating, Justin Verlander back in Detroit trying to chase a World Series. Can the Tigers take advantage of the ABS system? Kevin McGonigal, AL Rookie of the Year chase. Kevin McGonigal, can he be the number one jersey in Comerica Park? Riley Green, star, superstar. Colt Keith, is he being phased out? Casey Mize, is he being phased out? Can we hang a banner for the first time since 2014? And is Carpenter really just going to be a platoon guy? What is the most entertaining storyline for you heading into this year?
I think the most entertaining, and obviously nostalgia has so much to do with this, is the Verlander return. Just because I try to look ahead of what this could be, and let's say the Tigers find themselves in position where they're in the ALCS or God willing, even in the World Series. Everyone's going to be talking about that. It's like the idea of potentially, and I know he has not been open about whether or not this is his last go around anywhere, but like the idea of going up, riding off into the sunset, finally, unfinished business, brings home a championship. So I mean, on a personal level, that's probably number one for me. I think that the fan base is going to be watching McGonigal extremely closely, and I totally understand that. I think that's going to be a huge part of this. But yeah, it's one of those two for me.
The Verlander thing is fascinating, too, because it's been, rumored maybe isn't the right word, but it's been in speculation that this could happen for a couple of years now. And one doesn't come without the other. One doesn't come without the other in terms of Tigers chasing a World Series, Justin Verlander back in Detroit. Now both of those things are happening at the same time. To your point, this could be a really, like, you think of a sports movie or a TV show or whatever. This is how it should end, with him back in Detroit in a World Series, pitching in a big-time game. Whether or not they win the World Series or not, I guess we'll save that for another day. But this is how the story should end for a career that is as great as his.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. I think it's a great connection because the only info that I got on this, like about a potential return, was I think about a year and a half ago, or almost 2 years ago. I had a chance to talk to his brother, and I threw the question out there, being like, "Hey man, could JV ever come back to Detroit?" And his response was like, he'd be open to it, but like the team, I'm paraphrasing, team's got to get good again. Like he's not going to come back here just to come back here. Like he wants to pitch meaningful baseball, and I think that is what's really cool about this. Like no disrespect to Miguel Cabrera, I love him, but like that retirement tour was like it wasn't a media creation, but it was just one of those things of like we want people paying attention until the very end here. Like I got the impression Verlander and the Tigers see an opportunity not just to add him, but to add him as a piece to help make this team better and hopefully go on a deep run.
As of today, we haven't talked too much of today, more so the entire season as a whole. What are you looking for going into this year? Because Verlander's not going to be on the mound today.
Right. The biggest thing to me, and I brought up in my preview video yesterday, is I'm going to be focusing in on a quote that Harris had several months ago, because he was asked about the offense and about the lack of contact and the fact that people were asking, hey, if you run it back with essentially the same offense, is that kind of the definition of insanity? And his response was, just because the players are the same doesn't mean that the results are going to be the same. And to me, that's him saying that there's enough talent here that we can mold these guys into the players we want in terms of their knowledge of the strike zone, their willingness to not be the thing that I think the fan base is going to be watching all year ago, in large part because they struggled against breaking balls. The bottom half of the lineup was unproductive. They struck out too much. I'm going to be paying attention to that because I think we saw with some of the really good teams in the postseason a year ago, you need contact in your lineup. You need 1 through 9 to grind out at bats. If this is an offense that can develop into that, it elevates the ceiling for this team exponentially.
I'll take it a step further too. I think I'm like, take that, and I'm going to hone in a little bit more on Riley Green aspect of this too, because this is one of my storylines going into the year, star, superstar, and we've been asking this question for a couple of years now. And I think maybe a make or break for him to actually be a superstar this season.
Yeah.
Because last year, again, like the strikeouts are one thing. Obviously, you want those to go down, but it's that chase rate. It's the 3-pitch at bats, the approach at the plate. And he's had some quotes here during spring, too, that I think have been fascinating of, yeah, I want to take what the game gives me. It's not always going to be about hitting the ball, trying to hit the ball 5,000 feet. So I'm fascinated to see if he has, a little bit more plate discipline, can work a count, can get the pitcher to give him 8-9 pitches in an at-bat. Not just today, but over the course of the first series, or if this is going to be more of the same of last year and what Aaron Judge looked like last night of just like, hey, here's 4 strikeouts to start off the season, because that would suck.
Yeah, and it's interesting dynamic because I believe Riley. I really do.
I
I'm
do
glad
too.
that he's come out and been like, yeah, he's like, this is something that I want to work on. This is I know that wasn't necessarily helping the team. The one thing that he hasn't talked about, and I didn't expect this, but it's true, is just that like that swing of his
Yep.
is a lot of feast or famine. It's a lot of, hey, I make contact, ball's going to find barrel. You end up hitting 35 home runs a year because of that. But there's also going to be that it's a huge uppercut. It's a lot of swing and miss. Like there's holes in it. And I don't know how much of it doesn't seem like he's been willing to change that necessarily. So the knowledge of the strike zone and everything in the chase rate, a lot of that's going to be mental, but there is still that big uppercut swing that has a tendency to not make contact.
So you and I were texting back and forth last night, and you brought up the Colt Keith thing to me. So I'll lay this out for you, because I totally thought that Parker Meadows was going to be, like, it was either going to be Kevin McGonigal or Parker Meadows. So I was a little bit surprised when we found out it was Wenzel Perez being sent down for 2 reasons. I think A.J. Hinch really likes Perez because he's the switch hitting aspect of the lineup. And I thought, as much as A.J. Hinch likes to utilize every roster spot, every bench spot too, Parker's not really someone that you'd bring in for a pinch hit, which makes me think he's just going to be out there in center field every day, which means Javi's not going to be there, which means he's either going to be at shortstop or third, and then that means Colt Keith, where is he going to go? Because I think McGonigal should be playing shortstop more often than not. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at Colt Keith like, hey, man, are you actually the odd man left out? So I might have just stole what you were about to say, but break this down a little bit further for us, because you put me on this.
First of all, I just found it interesting in general that McGonigal was getting as many reps at third in spring as he was getting. That was step number 1 for me, because all we'd heard throughout this offseason was, hey, Colt's at third now. And in general, this is now the second, maybe even third straight offseason where it's, hey, we're going to throw a dart at the dartboard and see where Colt Keith is going to be playing defensively. I don't think that's necessarily a good sign to begin with. Didn't have a great spring. Ended last year relatively injured. I still like Colt, but I also think that, the organization's moving pretty fast here, and you have a guy in McGonigal that they trust who is going to occupy the left side of the infield in some capacity. And with Keith, like, if the defense, or let me take that back, if the bat just doesn't come along the way that they expected to, and this ends up being a deeper lineup than we thought it was going to be, you obviously can't put him in the outfield, meaning that, like, you gotta hit your way into this lineup. And I don't know how much of this is psychological. I think that they're trying to light a fire under a guy in Colt Keith who very clearly has the ability and someone they believed in for a long time. But when you just kind of look at the makeup of this roster right now, if there is a guy, there's only 9 spots available. If there is a guy that might be on the verge of potentially being phased out if he doesn't hit his way into the lineup, it could be Colts. And I know I brought this up with Parker coming into this season, but like the one thing Parker does provide is really good defense in center field, and like there is value that comes with that. Like if Colt's not hitting, then there isn't a whole lot of purpose for Colt Keith to be in the field. And I still like him, but this is going to be a big season for him.
Same question to Casey Mize, though. Is there a chance by the end of the year Troy Melton kind of takes his job?
If he's healthy, maybe. I think the guy to watch out for more so right now is Drew Anderson, who had a really good spring. And I think my whole thing with Mize is even with the underperformance in spring, I have concerns with Mize and have for a while. Durability, obviously an issue. The splitter being a borderline unusable pitch is a massive issue with him. But no, I think there's a definite possibility, because I think that we look at this lineup, we look at this rotation, and we do say it's really good. I still think that AJ likes the idea of the occasional pitching chaos. And I think that the reason why they went out and got Kenley Jansen and brought back Kyle Finnegan and got Drew Anderson is for the fact that if one of these guys does fall off or get injured or something, then maybe they could still use that every so often. He's going to have a chance to prove it here. But look, I think the other thing, if we get to the summer months and Job is on the verge of coming back and there is an odd man out, if Casey hasn't pitched his way, into that every fifth day spot, I could see him being, a bullpen piece at some point. He's not going to be a guy who I think is ever going to get sent down to AAA again.
Yeah.
I think he's too old at this point, but he's going to have something to prove here. This is a rotation with 4 guys that are, pretty locked into their spots. There's depth within this organization. And if those depth pieces step up and Casey doesn't, he could be the guy that's out of this rotation.
Somehow in my list of 10 storylines heading into the year, I forgot to include the fact that Kenley Jansen is about to pass Lee Smith for the most career saves, and could potentially, depending on how many save opportunities he gets, be the third pitcher in MLB history to have 500 career saves. Do you think he is going to be the number 1 closer, or is this going to be similar to how AJ Hinch does? The lineup's different every single day. Just, hey, whoever's feeling it for that month or that week or that stretch of the season is going to be the 9th inning closer for between Vest, Finnegan, and Jansen.
Yeah, this is just my guess on this, and I don't know Kenley. I haven't heard Kenley talk about it, but I have a hard time believing that he would have signed anywhere unless he felt like he had a really good shot to get save number 500. I mean, that's, if you're closers, that borderline locks you into the Hall of Fame if you get to 500 saves. So I don't know if he would have been crazy about the idea of like, you might have a shot to get there. I think that the way it's going to work is that, and we saw this, and AJ's been very open about the fact that, like, sometimes the 7th or 8th innings are way more important than the 9th. Like, you might get the save in the 9th inning, but you can lose a game in the 7th inning, you can lose a game in the 8th. I think Vest and Finnegan are going to get a primary amount of the high leverage reps, whether that's 6th inning, 7th inning, 8th inning, what have you. I'm sure they'll get occasional save opportunities, but I think when it comes to save time in the 9th innings, I think Jansen will get most of those opportunities. I feel like he's been a career closer ever since he got called up. I think it would be a weird juxtaposition now for him to come in here and all of a sudden be the guy who's setting people up. But I think there will be a mix. I think it'll be very similar to what we saw last year when this team acquired Finnegan. Like, Finnegan was great down the stretch and into the second half, but he locked down a few games. He also, was able to hold a few games down in the 7th and 8th inning. I think that'll be the case, but I would guess primarily Jansen gets most of the save opportunities.
All right, we got to talk about Kevin McGonigal. I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
This is my favorite storyline that been throughout today. Like, what should we expect from Kevin McGonigal? Is whether you want to go full season wise, whether you want to go right away, like, what is your grasp on the entirety of Kevin McGonigal now being on the Major League roster with the Tigers?
I think his floor, I would say, is a guy, because I don't want, the guy's going to be great. He's going to be an excellent player, but he's a rookie, and this is his first game, and there's psychological elements that come with that. At the same time, I think one thing that we are so tired of in this lineup is guys swinging at pitches that they have no business swinging at. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I am positive about with Kevin McGonigal is that I don't know if there's going to be a player in this lineup who makes better swing decisions. The guy just doesn't choose bad pitches to swing at. And he knows he has a feel for the barrel. When he makes contact, he almost always finds barrel. And I also think the other big thing that we can expect from him that's just lacking in this lineup is an elite knowledge of the strike zone. The fact is, as good as he was in spring and he earned his spot, he only hit like 240, but his OPS was over 900 because when he hit for power and he drew a ton of walks. He is the kind of player that is needed in this lineup. It's so tough because there's guys take their lumps, and I'm not going to come on here and say, he's going to hit 270, 280. He's going to get this number of home runs. I'm extremely confident that pretty early into this season, there's going to be a high leverage situation where Kevin McGonigal is up to bat, and unanimously Tiger fans are going to say to ourselves, thank God he's up and not somebody else. I think that pretty quickly, I'm not going to say he's necessarily guaranteed to be the best hitter on this team numbers-wise, but I think he's definitely going to be one of the most trusted guys on a per-at-bat basis as we get deeper into the season.
And it's fascinating, too, because Scott Harris has preached for the longest time that we want to control the zone, that's supposed to be our identity. And then you look at the heart of the lineup, Riley Green, 31% chase rate last year. Kerry Carpenter, even worse, 34% chase rate last year. And then Javi's, I don't even want to tell you what it is because it's a little bit too high for our liking. If he can and in a year where we're introducing the ABS, and it's maybe more important to control the zone than ever before, to have that guy put into the team, it feels like the stars are aligning a little bit. Okay, one last thing I got for you. Really weird storyline because it's not necessarily like stealing headlines, and it's not something that, Tigers fans are having a beer at the bar talking about. Matt Vierling, sneaky, really good spring, and sneaky person who could be in the bottom third of this lineup that could help the team in a big way.
Dude, I've always been a Matt Vierling truther, man. Like, I think every team needs a Matt Vierling, and it's so weird because his first 2 years, a wildly important part of this team. I mean, like he was, he played basically every day in 23 and 24, had productive moments, moved him around the diamond. He had played some outfield. They ended up moving him to third base. I think that and I remember saying this at the time, like he wasn't a number 3 hitter, which is like where they were putting him in that 24 postseason. But now you look at the role he's asked to play, it's different. But I brought it up with Javi last year where it's like, when a guy's role changes and you all of a sudden are no longer asked to be the power guy in the middle of the lineup and you're now just the scrappy contact guy towards the bottom of the order, that's a really appealing role for Matt Vierling. Like, he's a great culture guy. I know the organization really likes him. I think there's going to be something there. Like, I think Vierling was forgotten about because he played 30 games, and I swear, man, I barely remember any of those. Like, I felt like he was out basically all of last season, so he was probably never healthy. He's still relatively young, man. I think we get a nice season from Matt Vierling this year. I think he's going to bounce back and continue to be a key piece here. He's never going to be a star, but every team needs a Matt Vierling. And I'll also just add one last thing. I gotta think Zach McKinstry is something of a regression candidate.
Of course.
And if that's the case, Vierling can slide right back into that spot as that kind of versatile, scrappy utility guy.
Good point. Chris Castellani, you guys can follow him on Twitter throughout the Tiger season. Always good catching up with him here. You also got something new going on right now. You want to plug all of our listeners on what you got going on?
Thank you. Yeah, courtesy of the Big Play Network, I'm now the main host of Big Play Detroit. It is after this had been in the works for a long time, but it's me with my producer Austin Sisler, who's also producing it and is taking the Kyle role in this particular case. We have him on the air as well, adding his information, and that's going to be out once a week. 2 episodes in right now, so we're still working out the kinks, but we got a nice little sponsorship with FanDuel, and we're continuing to grow that. So Big Play Detroit, you can put it into YouTube. I'm going to retweet, promote it all the time as well on my Twitter at Castellani 2014. So hopefully you guys don't miss anything.
Well, congratulations on that. We'll be keeping up with it. We'll catch up with you hopefully soon as this Tiger season starts tonight. I can't wait.
Appreciate it, fellas. I'll talk to you soon.
There you go. Chris Castellani, everybody. All right, we'll come back. We'll hit the news, and we've got another guest coming on at 11:30 as well. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. We're here on the Mid. The 11 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by our friends over at Yiter Insurance. Life happens fast, and at Yiter Insurance, we're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yiter has the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can actually talk to. Yiter Insurance Group will be there when you need us since 1940.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and... Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We are so close to the Tigers' first pitch. Tarek Skubal on the mound. Happy Scoobs. Bump day to everybody. Let's hit the news in the meantime.
The Mets Morning Catch.
Surprisingly, a lot going on in the news today, Ben.
I know.
Even though yesterday we had nothing going on. We haven't even touched on the Pistons game last night. Let's do that right now. The Pistons lose in overtime to the Hawks last night, 130 to 129. Man, this was a heartbreaker. No Cade still, of course. Duran had 26 and 14. Danish Jenkins with a double-double with some dimes. Duncan Robinson, Tobias Harris were both really clutch down the stretch in regulation, but overtime just not enough. Tip in from Duran just falls short.
Brutal. Just brutal way to end this thing. They were down, 18 at halftime? And then they stormed back and go on a 19-0 run early in the third quarter.
It's a fun game, man. It really, back-to-back games were really fun ones. It just sucks they couldn't pull this one out.
Yeah, they're back in action tonight against the Pelicans.
Correct, yes. Going to be towards the bottom of the priority list tonight, unfortunately, which usually doesn't happen, by the way. Pistons usually are always right at the top for me, but...
I mean, it's a garbage team that they're playing.
Here's why they are towards the bottom of the list, because we have multiple things going on tonight. Of course, we already talked about it. Tigers, they're on at 4:15. Pirates-Mets kicks off opening day today, 1:15 on NBC. So we're going to get a little sneak preview of what the NBC coverage is going to look like this year.
With our guy Benetti.
Is he on this call today, on the 1:15 call? I think he's on the one.
I thought you meant tonight. My bad.
Yeah, he's on the one tonight with Diamondbacks versus Dodgers. But Paul Skeens kicks off opening day today for all of Major League Baseball. We already talked about how the Yankees just dominated the Giants last night despite Aaron Judge going 0 for 5 with 4 Ks. The Frozen Four, though, it starts today. You got 3 teams from Michigan, all as top seeds in their quads. MSU, they're in action today. They take on UConn at 1:30. Michigan tomorrow faces Bentley. Can't say I'm familiar with Bentley other than the car brand.
Never heard of them.
They play them at 5:30 tomorrow, and then also tomorrow, Western Michigan, yes, the school from the west side of the state. They face Minnesota State tomorrow at 2:30, so pretty cool to see the state of Michigan once again being represented well on the ice.
If you can, in one guess what state Bentley University is in, I'll buy you lunch.
It's got to be somewhere in the north. I will go with New Hampshire.
Oh, so close.
Is it Vermont?
Massachusetts.
Yeah, New Hampshire was probably a wild guess.
That's fair.
Dang, that would have been nice. Okay, anyways, also going on tonight, of course, the Sweet 16 resumes. Let's tell you what time those games are on. Texas versus Purdue. That's at 7:10 on CBS. Shortly after, Iowa, Nebraska, the Big Ten battle. One of those teams is getting to the Elite Eight. 7:30 on TBS. The late games, Arkansas, Arizona. Cannot wait for this game. 9:45 on CBS. Ben mentioned it earlier. The best game of the day, 10:05 p.m. Illinois versus Houston. Both of those late 2 games, you got top freshman guards that are going to get picked. Well, one of them's a sophomore for Alabama. That are going to get picked in the draft this season. Going to be going at it against each other. Kingston Fleming versus Keaton Wagler in the Illinois-Houston game. You've got Braden Burries versus Darius Acuff in Arkansas, Arizona. It is extremely exciting.
How are these 2 games not the earlier games? And why didn't we stick Purdue versus Texas at 10:05? What are we doing? Who's came up with the scheduling for this?
Right. Especially because Texas Purdue, the game's in San Jose. It's not like it's, we don't want them to be in the East Coast playing this late.
The game's starting at 4 o'clock.
Starting at 4 o'clock over there. Which so is obviously Arkansas, Arizona is also in San Jose right after. But
they should be flips, man. It's actually insane.
It is. It's ridiculous. Those 2 late games I'm super excited for.
They're way better games.
Make your 4 picks right now. Who wins all 4 games?
I'll go Houston. I'll go Purdue.
Okay.
I will go.
The Big Ten battle one is so hard, man. I have no idea who wins that game.
I'll go Nebraska. I think it continues.
Okay.
And then what's the last one?
Arkansas, Arizona.
I'll go Arkansas.
Really?
I'm really in on Acuff. I think he can do it.
I really like Arizona minus 7.5 tonight. I think Arizona kind of handles them. But I would rather it be a close game. So that's just kind of a pick that I'm relatively confident in. Okay, a couple more things going on in the news. The Tigers, of course, we talked about you're going to be able to watch them on Spectrum, Fubo, Xfinity, whatever. There's also some new stuff in Comerica Park this year, Ben.
Ooh.
Some food, new food.
I love new food.
I'm going to run through these. Let me know if you would get them or not. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Because you kind of like to watch what you eat a little bit, right?
Yeah, I also like to pig out a little bit. Just
True,
as
especially
much.
if you're at the ball game. Yeah. Okay. First off, we got pierogi nachos. Kind of interesting.
Remind me pierogi?
Pierogi is like a dumpling. It's like filled with meat or potato or like
No.
it's like a
No
dumpling
chance.
type thing. You don't like pierogies? You've definitely had
I wouldn't
one.
eat this at the ballpark.
Okay, that's fair. What about the tiger tail? This is the funnest thing of the new introduction. A foot-long Coney-style
Nope.
chili corn dog.
No.
It's a foot-long corn dog that is built like a Coney dog where it has chili sauce over it.
I don't eat hot dogs. No, thank you.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. This thing probably costs $35.
Yeah, just something insane.
It's something that I would get with if I had like 4 guys to eat this with.
Pause.
Okay. What about smoked bone-in short rib sandwich?
No, too messy for the ballpark, man.
Oh.
If I don't have a table somewhere to eat that, that's a problem.
You're
And
right.
I want to be in my seat throughout the whole game.
That's fair. There's going to be sushi at the ballpark this year. You into
No,
sushi?
no.
I'm with you on that one. I'm not a sushi
Ballpark
guy.
sushi in the sun when it's hot outside? No.
What about steak frites?
Okay, I would get that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
That sounds good.
You could fork that. You know, that's not going to be that messy.
That's also probably running you $27.
That one for sure is. There's multiple new barbecue spots, and the last thing is big turkey legs, just like you can get at Ford Field on Thanksgiving.
Not my go-to meat on a hot summer day in Comerica Park, I would say.
Yeah.
They
I'm with
introduce
you
all
on
this
that
crazy stuff. I don't know who actually buys it. I
Oh,
still
people
feel
do.
Like,
People do.
Sure, but I still feel like the most popular stuff is just the hot dogs and chicken tenders when you're at the. It's just so easy.
No 999 challenge special for Comerica Park this year. It's
I
a
think
shame.
I would die if I did the 999 challenge.
I think I
by
would
the
too.
third inning.
Shout out to Brad Galley for hooking us up with all the new stuff in Comerica Park. Okay, that's it. Actually, I do have to mention this, by the way, just because it's fun. Today, Orioles Twins, Tyler O'Neill. You probably never heard of him, outfielder for the Orioles. Yeah, he's going for his 7th straight opening day home run today against the Twins. He has hit a opening day home run 6 straight seasons. It's actually one of the weirdest things in all of sports. I just wanted
That's
to
a
throw
bizarre
that in.
one.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for the news.
All right. When we come back, we'll have another guest on. You hear the name all the time, get to know the face. It's Doug Cellini. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mid.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Do we have any spray paint?
by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, you hear the name all the time. Here's a chance to get to know the face for our YouTube audience. It's Doug Cellini, Kingsview Partners, right here in Midland. Tiger season starting today. You told me before I went on. Much bigger Lions person nowadays, though, because the Tigers can't watch them on YouTube TV because they can't get their stuff together.
Oh, it's so frustrating. It's been the biggest frustration the last couple of years, not being able to just, on a Sunday afternoon, you get done mowing the lawn, right, and you come in and just put on the Tigers, right? So I don't have it anymore, so I have to rely on the Ben Bosscher show to, fill me on what's happening with the Tigers. But what an exciting time to be a sports fan here in Michigan, right? We got Spartans tomorrow, Wolverines tomorrow. Both teams can make a run to the Final Four. Pistons holding on to that number 1 seed despite, the missed last-second shot last night. But what a gritty team, right? Lions free agency, right? Lions still favorite to win the North. We just need the Red Wings, right? We need the Red Wings to get their act together. Like, it's absolutely. I was hoping to come in today and talk about, is April in the D back? Because nothing would make me more happy than to hear that corny garage band song, from the early 2000s. Kyle knows what I'm talking about.
That was the best, yeah.
On Fox Sports Detroit.
Fox Sports Detroit. No, so I appreciate you having me. This is really exciting. I'm happy to be here.
So you've told me a couple things here in the last week or so. We were emailing back and forth trying to get you on. And you told me something fascinating about Dan Campbell. And then a couple minutes ago, before we went live, you told me, hey, I heard you talking yesterday about Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes specifically, loving his guys a little too much, handing out too many contracts. And you said, I actually think that's a good thing.
Well, I know, Ben, you and Kyle don't know about your personal life. I know you guys are young, right? And so if we could take a second and talk about love, okay? From a 38-year-old married guy, 15 years, I'm going to tell you, when you find the right person, when you find that person that you can just, you're ride or die, everything in life is all about that person. They bring you happiness, joy. I have that with my spouse, right? And every single day, I choose her in free agency, right? I choose her over free agency, right? And I tell her all the time, hey, if we were ever to go out and look for a free agent, I'd be looking for you, right? And I have her. Brad Holmes has that. There's nobody out there in free agency that's better than Aiden Hutchinson, better than Jameer. Even Brian Branch, right? I understand the injuries, and same with Kirby and Laporta. I understand these injuries. But if you go down that roster and what Brad Holmes has built, you cannot find another roster in the entire NFL that has top 5 talent or potentially all-pro guys at every level. And I would even argue that with JMO and with St. Brown and even Tesla, that's the best 1-2-3 combination in the entire league. And now that we added Conklin at tight end, really that missing piece, right? The gritty, experienced tight end that's going to a D-line's not going to do anything against him, right? They're not going to confuse him. He's seen it all. He knows what he's doing. Jameer Gibbs. Got to talk about Jack Campbell at middle backer, Aiden Hutchinson at the D-line. In that secondary, I know we're banged up, but I'm sorry. You got Kirby Joseph, you got Brian Branch. We need one of those guys to make it back. I'm not giving up hope yet on DJ Reed. I'm not giving up hope yet on Terrion Arnold. But we got the pieces. And so the question, I think, what I really brought back to you last week when we were emailing back and forth is, so then why as Lions fans, because I agree with you. I agree totally with you in free agency. Like, we need to be doing more. Why aren't we doing more? But really, it isn't about the personnel. It's about the in-game strategies. It's about the coaching. Why aren't we talking more about Dan Campbell, right, and what he's doing with this team? And don't get me wrong, man, I am a diehard Dan Campbell fan. I want a statue right now outside of Ford Field of him and Brad Holmes. I think they deserve it. But I think it's a fair question to ask. This year, is Dan Campbell in the hot seat? No, we're not doing that, right? But I think the fair question is this a put up or shut up year for Dan Campbell?
This is so good that I'm jealous that I didn't come up with this.
He's
this
putting Ben
is
in a tough
so
spot right
good.
now.
Well, let me
no
bring
notes.
Let me
like
bring it
this
back,
is
right?
perfect. Do you want me to answer your question?
Yeah, let me just let me take this for a second. Okay,
take
right?
it because you're cooking.
Yeah,
right now.
right. I'm a certified financial planner, independent here in Midland. Okay, part of what I do is take people to that next level via strategies, right? We don't come in and we talk about risk and we should stay invested in the market during tough times. But frankly, it's the CFPs, it's that certified financial planner where we're bringing that. What's that next level strategy? What can we be doing right now? It's tax season, right? It's tax season. We 100% need to be working on tax strategies for next year. This is not the time to be saying, oh, what should I have done last year? So what can I do going forward this year in those planning strategies? And that's what I expect out of Dan Campbell. And if Dan Campbell was right in front of us right here, he'd be saying the same thing. And that's why I love and appreciate about the guy. But I think the focus isn't need. We don't need splash players in free agency. We need those tough, gritty Lions, right? The guys who are going to be the glue guys, right? First one in, last guy out, right? The glue guys. Mm-hmm. But anyways, go ahead.
I mean, it's perfect. Like, is this a put up or shut up year for Dan Campbell? I think there's an opportunity in the waiting for fans to start jumping on Dan Campbell in a way that they haven't yet before. Because you're right in the fact that, like, they're running out of opportunities.
Yes.
The more and more removed we get from this incredible 2022 and 2023 draft class where they really brought all their core guys for the most part together. I know they had the 2021 as well, but even 2022, just right off the top of the head, it's Hutch, it's J-Mo, and then you go to 2023 and it's the four guys that are due for extensions this year with Branch and Laporte. Every year you get further removed from that. And every year you have to start paying more and more of them, which
Absolutely.
Potentially all four of those guys getting paid this offseason. It's going to become harder because you're going to be more restricted in what you can do financially, and we're seeing that here this offseason. So you are a little bit more dependent on the coach and the scheme and the personnel, like all the coaches, the assistants included, pulling you over the hump.
Yes.
And right now I'm not 100% convinced, especially with the coordinators, because you're putting this on Dan a lot, and I'm not saying you're wrong for that. I think there's more questions with the coordinators on who they are rather than Dan Campbell on who he is. But I think that goes back to Dan Campbell of can he actually hire the right offensive coordinator, or DC, maybe too much faith in Calvin Shepard. Still have faith in Calvin Shepard. But this is now, like, you know what people forget about early on in the Lions era is the fact that they hired Anthony Lynn to be their offensive coordinator, and that did not work out.
That's a name I forgot. Yep.
That did not work out at all. He was fired within one season.
Great move.
Great move.
Yep.
Then they lucked their way into Ben Johnson because he was already on the staff. He moves on, and they knew another colossal failure in hiring John Morton because he's to get replaced. So, they're not just Dan Campbell, but the entire coaching staff in whole, I think, is under a lot more pressure this season than they ever have been.
Absolutely. And I think that's where the conversation really needs to be had. Because if we take a look back at last season, right, we have 4 losses in division, all right, two to the Green Bay Packers. I don't mind those losses. Packers, good team, right? We got 2 to the Vikings. In what? 9 beat us, and I can't even tell you who the quarterback was on Christmas Day, right? We're all freaking
Nobody
insane.
could.
But it was really because Brian Flores out-schemed you. Brian Flores knows Jared Goff, knows this offense, knows the tendencies, and he was just able to tee off, and they were playing light years ahead of us, right? So we got 4 losses in division, but then if you take a look at, so then we lost to the Chiefs, we lost to the Eagles, we lost to the Rams, lost to the Steelers, right? If we go back to the Rams game, was very competitive. That was a great game, and I thought Dan Campbell called a great game offensively, right? But even defensively, Rams love running their 13 personnel, 1 running back, 3 tight ends. And the reason why they're doing that is because it's forcing our secondaries, forcing our safeties to get downhill and have to play in the run game. And Maddox, I want to say it was Maddox, Harper, whoever we had in there, right? It just did a terrible job, right? And then Steelers very next week took a similar style scheme and just ran all over us, okay? But if we take a look at even that Steelers game, how are we not kicking field goals? How are we not manage that game better? We know we're going up against a strong defensive team, right, in the Steelers. How are we not going in and saying, okay, we're going to play 3 yards in a cloud of dust, bend, don't break defense? That defense does nothing but break. And so when you talk about going to the season, I want to be able to see coaching win us 1 or 2 games. Because if that would have happened this year and we get into the dance, I think we're potentially making a run. You just got to get in, right? Dan Campbell says it all the time. And so the way that Brad Holmes is constructing this team, I strongly disagree with a caller yesterday that came in or said, Brad Holmes is stupid. I think it's brilliant. I think he's great. I think he's doing exactly what a GM should be doing. I think more talking and more should be put on the Lions coaching staff. Because you're right, it's not all on Dan Campbell. But I just listened to an interview yesterday with Dan Campbell. He's talking about building the right guys around him, right? And he's 100% right.
I think towards the season, it will start to shift towards Dan Campbell a little bit. But in free agency, obviously it's going to be
we need to do
a
a sports talk radio and say, like, hey, let's not talk about free agency, right?
No, I mean, we're going to have to talk about Brad Holmes for a little bit there. And I think the argument I was making with he loves his guys a little too much, it really comes down to four contracts that are really in question. It's the Lee McNeil one. Because
I know,
that one's just one where it's like, hey, man, if you're not an all Pro Bowl, all pro type of player this year, like you are an overpaid guy.
But that's where I go back to, the love discussion we had earlier, right? As your love therapist here on the show, and I say, the coach staff needs to be going to these guys and saying, hey, we're paying you X amount of dollars. Like, lean on these guys. Like, you're paying them. Aleem's got to have that pressure. Aleem's got to show up this year, right?
Number one guy with the most pressure on him, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Derek Barnes, throw him into that too, because he's the guy who's making $9 million this year. I'd throw the Taylor Decker one in there because that's just like still kind of haunting them.
But good on them to let him walk, though. Good on them to let him walk,
And then the Joseph one, even though that's not a big cap hit every year, it's just like it's just as a whole kind of scary.
But what are you going to do, right? I mean,
it's not his fault.
Yeah,
it's
right.
not Holmes' fault.
Really like to see, man, if Kirby can make it back, that's when I think you'll see a shift in us Lions fans.
Because they were terrible in one-score games last year.
Oh my gosh.
Kirby Joseph flips at least one or two games last year. Because I've always said this: Branch is the better down-to-down player. He's the most well-rounded, one of the most well-rounded safeties in the NFL. Kirby's the guy who flips the games, though. Kirby's the guy who changes the outcomes of games. Before we go, to put a bow onto things, you got to drop the name that you compared Dan Campbell to when we were emailing back and forth, because this was the thing I was the most jealous about.
Maybe we need more time on this, for maybe next week or something like this. But like we said via email, it reminds me a little bit of the early 2000s Pistons, right? When you have Rick Carlisle coming in, turn the Pistons around, we're all excited. But what happened every single year, right? Kind of just
fell short
in the playoffs. But what did it take? It took the GM, was it Dumars at the time, I want to say, hiring Larry Brown. And I just question, do the Lions need to do the same? And I don't want it. I'm a big Dan Campbell fan. I'm rooting for him. Again, I want the statue right outside Ford Field. But it comes back to, is this the staff that's going to take the Lions over the hump? And are they going to be able to out-coach other teams, out-scheme other teams, and pick up one or two wins when maybe Goff's having a bad day, like on Christmas?
And that's so perfect, too, because look at the career that Carlisle's had afterwards. It's not to say he's a bad coach.
Absolutely.
Because he went on he just brought a team to the finals less than a year ago.
He's a great coach.
Doug Cellini, everybody, certified ball knower. Hey, we've got 3 traditions to close out every show. We'll do those when we come back. Again, thanks to Doug Cellini, Kingsview Partners, right here in Midland, for stopping by.
All right, thanks, Ben.
There we go. We'll be right back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
I'm
All right, we have 3 traditions to close out every show. Not a ton of time left. Let's do first our game of the day.
Game of the day.
Usually I try to do, like, obviously it's the Tigers game. But from like what's just the best game on across sports today, I think it is the Illinois versus Houston game. Unfortunately, March Madness is, whoever scheduled these games wasn't thinking about, most of the country and put this at 10:10 p.m.
Yeah.
No notes?
No, I agree. That is the game of the day, but like Tigers opening day should be game of the day. But yes, as far as, I mean, the whole purpose of game of the day is picking the best game, right?
Yeah, I think that's the best game that we have today.
And the best baseball game is just either Paul Skeens or, no, I mean, Skubal is pitching, so I guess that's probably bad to say. So yeah, I would rock with Houston versus Illinois.
Okay, that is our game of the day.
Game of the day.
All right, so for our next tradition, we have our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, lock of the day. I was really thinking about taking Houston -2.5, and Kyle basically was like, nope. He held, threatened me, said he would leave, walk away, never do the show again if I didn't do something with the Tigers game. All right, fine, you win. I got Kerry Carpenter 2 bases today, 2 total bases, and I'm already having PTSD of all the 2 total bases bets that I lost.
That's
earlier in the summer.
The precise reason why I'm going to fade this today. Not that I have no faith in Kerry Carpenter, but like I should go back to 2025 and see the amount of time you did this bet because it just never worked.
Well, you got a righty on the mound today.
But like the bases, I just don't love the bases stuff because
I don't like
the walks don't count.
I don't like any of it.
Right.
I don't like betting on baseball.
Skubal's pitching. You could have just rocked something with Skubal, right?
His over-under was 7.5. I wasn't taking him to do 8 because he got lit up in last year's opening day against the Dodgers.
Well, dude,
lit up.
He's got to prove his point. Logan Webb, who pitched in the World Baseball Classic, got lit up last night in real life. So now he has to come out and shine and go crazy and be like, see, this is why I didn't pitch in the World Baseball Classic.
Oh.
See? You see what I'm saying?
Tigers' money line was -130.
Yeah. Can't really
didn't
do
love that. They keep losing on their first game of the day, too, or first game of the years, last couple of years. So I just have Kerry Carpenter come through versus the right-handed pitching. You're a best hitter versus right-handed pitching.
You did hit lock of the day yesterday, by the way.
Yes, sir.
First hit of this week, which is pretty big, and it was plus 126 too. So
I was really scared though when he missed that free throw under a couple minutes.
He had 24 for the longest time. Yeah.
Well, he had 23 and he got to the line and missed his first free throw. I was like, "Are you serious, man?" And
then he had to put back late, and then OT obviously didn't even score. But yeah, Duran did get 25 points. So you're 0.13 units down in 2026. You're 1.19 units down in March. So still got plenty of time to get back above that. The Kerry Carpenter bet today would, of course, really help.
What was that? Plus 120?
Plus 110.
Plus 110. Okay. Hit a double, Kerry Carpenter, right in the first inning, and we don't have to worry about this any longer. That's our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, the next tradition.
Wait 1 second.
Yep.
We have one more in between here.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
Yep, perfect. Love it. Please never
Two
stop
words
doing
for you. Tarek Skubal and Nick Pavetta. Must-see TV.
Tarek Skubal, Kevin McGonigal, must-see TV, opening day. There you go. What do we think Colin Cowherd opens up his show with? Whose turn is it
I
to
put
go
us on the
first?
wrong side. 1 second.
Okay.
There we go.
Sure.
48-45. No one got the point yesterday because yesterday he started teasing it like he was going to, whatever I picked to be the lead, I can't even remember what I picked. He started acting like he was going to talk about it, and then he goes, LeBron,
Yeah.
is he going to go back to Cleveland? What? It's episode 204 today, which would mean it's my turn to go first. So the Yankees won last night. Aaron Judge stunk. It's MLB opening day. It would feel like a real shame if he did not lead with MLB. So I will go with that. I will go with the
You're
Yankees
taking
winning.
all of MLB?
No, I'm going with the Yankees winning last night.
Okay, I think he mentions it right off the top. I do think you're right, by the way. That would have been my pick. And then I will go with
Yep, you got 10 seconds.
then I'll go with the Celtics because they beat OKC last night. All right.
Boo.
That's going to do it. Go Tigers. Happy Scoobs Bump Day. The last first Scoobs Bump Day ever. See you guys later.
The Ben Bosscher